clobberin' time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
It's clobberin' time! Clobberonimo!
Clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberoids, clobberians, clobberuskis, clobberonics, clobble, every other kind of clobbler, and everyone else who is aspiring to clobberdom. The secret is out there to, of course, bang the rocks together, guys. Clobberonimo! You said it, number one. Hello, my dear friends out there in Clobberland. Good to see you on this wonderful Thursday night for Clobberin' Times, issue number 636 on YouTube, 1,336 overall throughout this not so illustrious career of mine as a caster broader. And of course, it is Clobby's Clubhouse number 96 with my wonderful first officer, Commander Raquel Briggs, and the great chief engineer himself, Lieutenant Commander Mark D. with many, many C's. So,
hello.
Good to see you there. Welcome.
Sorry, watch party's running late, so snuck in here.
You're here. It's all right, bro. It's all right. So, good to see you, my friends. I'm so glad to have you here with us tonight. And hopefully many friends will join us. We got a great one for you, as always, and looking forward to it. And we will get things started, as we always like, to hear from my amazing, extraordinary second in command, greatest first officer in the fleet, Commander Briggs. Any opening words, please?
Well, first of all, I love you. I missed you. Oh my goodness, it's only been a few days, but you know, you're easy to miss. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to tonight. I think tonight represents some of the best material we've ever covered on the Clubhouse. So I think it's going to be great fun. I want to say hail to the chat. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for supporting my best friend's channel. It's really important that we get out here to his virtual comic book shop and we hang out. We have a great time. That's what this space is for. So thank you for joining us and adding to the conversation. I want to shout out to the Wrenches. Thank you so much for joining us, for helping to promote Clubby's channel, this show, all of his stuff that he has going on. You know, you don't have to do that, and yet you do that because you are such loyal and wonderful friends. So thank you so much for that. I'd also like to give a shout out to a couple of the folks who usually hang out with us, and they have some stuff going on behind the scenes, and I just want them to know that we're thinking of them. The number one is Enigmatic Drop Bear. We like to call him Ed. Enigmatic Drop Bear. He's going through chemotherapy right now, and sometimes he can be with us now, and sometimes he can't. And so if you're missing his marvelous conversation, if you're missing his beautiful, well-wrought reviews, if you're missing his personality, it's because he's in a fight right now. And so if you pray, or if you just want to send him a nice note and let him know that you're behind him, I know he could use that love and support. So a shout out to Enigmatic Drop Bear. And then, of course, our friend Maximum Redstone. Maximum Redstone. Max had a serious operation so that he could prepare for another serious operation. And so now here he is in recovery. And I heard that he got out and about a little bit. And so he's on the mend, and I'm super happy that he's on the mend. So sending your prayers, if you pray, if you know, I'm agnostic, but if you like to pray, please do pray, and send that love and that support to Maximum Redstone. And folks, hey, do you like episodic science fiction? You can read all 15 of my current stories. 5 of them aren't even published yet. You can also download my book if you join my Patreon. And right now I have a slight touch of writer's block. It's driving me up the wall. But anyway, there are 18 amazing people who are on my Patreon who are supporting my new book. It's Science Fiction Tales Volume 2. And I just want to shout them out individually because they're incredible people who are helping me to get over the finish line. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shuta, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K, and his trusty dusty dog Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, our good friend, sending love to you, honey. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C and his whole family. Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, much love to you again, honey. JT Kirk, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course, Rob Altus. And the 18th name is actually not showing up on my Patreon, and I don't know why. But when I find out what that person's name is, I will surely make it up to you. Just so you know, your name is not populating in the audience list in Patreon, and I don't know why. And so I think I've sucked up enough of the time here on intros. I love you all very much. I'm waving hello to one of my best buds, Mark D with a C, and waving to my captain. Love you, honey. Let's have a great time tonight. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Chief Engineer, anything to say before I get started with the shout outs and show notes and the shout outs and all that good stuff?
Well, hail to everyone in the chat. Hail to you guys. Thank you, Raquel, for that always warm welcome. Glad to be here with everyone. And yeah, I think we always have some cool stuff. We haven't had a bad show yet, have we? I don't think so. But
No.
only the parts, only my parts.
A couple of enabling items too. But yeah, thanks everyone who's hanging out at the watch party. So we've got an interesting UFO episode tonight. I don't know if we need Captain Finity for this one or not, but it's gonna be a fun one to talk about.
What happened to Captain Finity? I don't see him anywhere anymore.
He's now going under the name Pete. I think he changed his name to Peter.
Peter, not Finity's not the same man.
Maybe he's Saint Finity. Saint Peter?
I don't know. We'll find him. He'll pop up when we need him. Yep. All right. Well, anything else?
No, that's good. Yeah, no, looking forward to tonight, and hail to everyone. Yep.
Okie dokie. Well, let's see here. Some shout outies and some shout outies, frenzies. See what's up in here'sies. What else? Of course, always a reminder, August is Jack Kirby's month on CLOBBERIN Times. Even though I've not been doing a very good job of contributing Jack this month, we're going to get some stuff done. Let's see. Tomorrow night, I'll be hanging out with my great buddy J-Man on his channel and our good buddy Sean. It'll be 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. We've begun to chronicle all of Jack Kirby's Fourth World, the thing that, gave us the Bronze Age of comics. We started last week with his very first appearances you know, we're going to do this in chronological story order, fourth world story order, and all the crossovers, everything that crossed over into, starting with Jimmy Olsen. This next week, or this Friday, will be tomorrow night, I guess I should say. She'll be doing Forever People #1, New Gods #1, and Mr. Miracle #1. So we're doing them in order, and we're having a lot of fun doing that. My buddy Nick Weiser does not have a comic shop show tomorrow night, but I'm usually there with him on 8:30 CST when he has it on most Friday nights. But I do believe it is a skip on that one. We'll be back the following week reviewing Mark Millar's Starlight. And then, of course, Saturday night Star Trek continues. Same Trek time, same Clobby channel. Here we are with what she said. We have 4 more episodes. I was gonna. You need to. All right. Okay. I can't. What? Just. I need to be faster on this. No question about it.
Agonizer, please.
I mean, really?
Serve that one. Really? Yeah.
Is that where we are now? This thing. Why is this thing jumping on me? Stupid StreamYard's just being a freaking jerk off.
You wouldn't believe how awful it was last Saturday. Oh my gosh, it was driving me batty.
Indeed, yes. Anyway, there's Sunday nights, of course.
Oh yeah.
With
Sunday Night Geekery.
The Sunday Night Geekery and the great Mark D with the C's Engineer channel, where we geek out, and when we get done geeking out, we eat out. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, I might be going to a fair, New York State Fair, so we might have some.
Might not have a
food.
show. Oh,
Well,
there's a lot of fair.
No, I'll be there, but we might have.
Well, the fair food is kind of fun because it's always fun to look
Yeah.
at.
Yeah, like bacon wrapped, chocolate bacon, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Then, of course, Friday and Monday night, as I am 3 Mondays a week, I'll be on the Great J-Man's channel again. We're reviewing all of the chronologically, all the stories of the Legion of Superheroes from the Silver and through into the end of the Bronze Age. That's 3 Mondays a week on the Great J-Man's channel with J-Man, Sean, and myself having a blast doing that. It is so much fun. And then Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. It is Jack Kirby's birthday this coming Monday night, in time perfectly with Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk. So it'll be the big birthday bash for Jack. I'm not sure exactly what I will do, but it's going to be nonstop, wall-to-wall Jack, and I will have topics this time and grand prizes to be won. Well, no prizes.
Will there be cake? Will there be cake?
No. Well, yeah, from me. Nobody else gets any. But I'll have some. If it makes you all feel better, I'll have some cake.
I want cake.
Let's see here. Shouting out our great wrenches. And then we'll shout out our friends in the chat with us, of course. Whether they're here or not, they get to shout out the great bronze wrencher Eric K.
Evening, baby.
What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. The vindicated wrencher, the great White North, Chris Persia, buddy.
Thank you for the beautiful show poster and for using your social media to promote Clobby's channel and Clobby's shows. Love you, Chris.
Thanks for all you do, brother. D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron. Always good to see you, man. Lord Thoth, God of wrenches, and his wonderful better half, the amazing Lady Thoth. Avon lives, long live the Legion, old chum. That wrench without fear, my partner in crime on earth, be a fellow Legionnaire and Kirby, Fourth World reviewer extraordinary, J-Man. What a great pal you have been to the channel, sir. Master of the Claboni, comic artist extraordinaire, painter of the cover of Science Fiction Tales by Commander R.M. Briggs. Hungry boy. I hope he's out there doing okay. I haven't seen him in a while, but Super Wrench Kal-El. Maddie's daddy, Thor in Vegas, Sweden of Wrench Bjornia. That rascally wrench himself, Fanty Outsider, and Clobbering Time's own music master, Maximum Redstone. And let's see who is up in here with us in the indie chat. Oh, I had a button. There we go. Come on. Things go. Come on. Sorry, folks. Shaking a chance. All right, here we go. We have Penny here. Penny's with us.
Hey, Penny.
Penny, good to see you, my dear. Uh-oh, Wagner.
Wagner.
He loves it. I hope he does. I don't know. He might not. I can't speak for him. I'm sure. Princess Fiona, oh my
Send
dear.
a curtsy. Send a curtsy.
Lovely. Always nice to see the ladies. Could not be reached. For further comment, says, go away. Makes sense, right? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Sean Carter from
Mars. I have some really cool stuff that I'm trying to upload right now, which is why my intro is so bad. But I'm going to get some movies over to Mark, and we're going to show some fun stuff.
Ookey. Let's see here. Brian Hepburn. Good to see you, Brian.
Ravenscroft says, I thought about Raquel saying Wagner at work today and I burst out laughing. Love you, Ravenscroft 82.
Hey there, Ravenscroft. And hey there, Brian Hepburn. Let's see. And I always got to switch up the vamping music a little bit while I'm scrolling. Picasso, good to see you, my friend. Peter Not Finity. Let's see here. Scuba Peach, and they call him Scuba Peach. He's the king of the Rabba Beach. They call and he plays the malak because he goes chick chick boom chick chick boom.
Good evening, Scuba and Les.
All righty. How you doing, Picasso? Now the girls had turned the color of an avocado when he drive down the street in his Eldorado. He was only 5'3", but girls could not resist his stare. Boom, boom, boom. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Boom, 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 boom. You got to hear that song, Picasso. It's not me calling anybody names. It's just a great song.
Picasso just gifted a membership. I don't know if that shows up in the stream.
Oh, thank you, Picasso.
Hey.
You are a true artist. Ezra Goldstein, shalom, my friend.
Shalom, my friend.
Keely Roll Tide, Cal, Chow, How, I mean, Keely Chow Roll Tide. Sorry. Michael Beacom says better late than never. I don't know. Sometimes better than never. Sometimes late is better than. Never mind. Thank you. Sometimes never is better than late. Maybe. Never. It didn't. Just depends. I hope it's the other way around for us, though. Good to see you there, buddy, and shout out to Cassandra. Oh, gasp. J-Man had to leave early. Choke. Dave C.
Yay!
Good to see you, Dave Erishness. James Caserta, welcome.
Good evening.
Greetings.
Okay, I got the movie sent to Mark. Mark.
There you go, Marco Polo.
Okay, let me go check it out.
Thank you.
In the clubhouse or in my email?
No, I sent it to your real one too, like your real email, because I couldn't remember the other
one. That's
one.
fine. No, that's fine. Yep, no, that's all good.
See. Okay, folks, let's see if we got anybody else.
I can trust you with my email address.
JT Kirk. I am Kirk. All righty then.
Bubba Doom!
Bubba Doom 1 is up in here. All right, Bubba. I'm not to that far yet. I didn't get that far yet.
He just walked through the door and left 6 exclamation points. So I had to yell, Bubba Doom!
Nice. Joe Dog, welcome. Let's see.
Dog.
Yes, we got everybody. I understand that, Michael Beacom. No problem, dude. It's always good to see you. That's all that matters.
What happened with Michael Beacom on sending stuff?
Nothing. He was just saying he's probably eventually got to go into lurk mode because it's late.
Oh, crap. Well, it's nice to see you. Glad you're here. Please tell Cassandra that I said hi. And what's really cool is that we're going to be using your book again tonight.
Uh-oh, there you go. Alora Carolson.
Good evening.
Oh, says Hi, folks. Your book, Raquel. I think he means I bought your book, Raquel. Science Fiction Tales in the mail today. Oh, so you just got it in the mail? Okay, wow.
Nice.
The cover looks cool. I'll probably read it tomorrow. I did start first story for taste. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Lark Harrison, I have to tell you why the cover is so good. Well, you'll find out when you open the book up because I brag about him and I actually leave a statement that he wrote himself and sent to me. But the cover is actually a painting by HB. So he's a retired comic book artist, as you well know, but he did a painting for the book. It just blew me away. So I'm very proud of it. And I just think it's just so beautiful. And it was such a generous and like truly amazing thing to do for a total stranger. I just think HB is aces. So I'm glad you're enjoying that cover. And yeah, it's a painting. It's pretty darn gorgeous.
And I'll tell you this about that cover. This few people that will say, I'll just admit it, LR, is that this work by HB is probably on this cover alone. It dwarfs anything he did in his entire career under the name of Don Perlin, which a lot of people don't know he was Don Perlin, but I just let the cat out of the bag there, and I'm sorry, it was a total accident. Total accident on my part. But he wasn't Mike Allred. I'm pretty sure of that. I can't wait to see his response to that.
Oh, I didn't know that HB was also a painter. Well, it's obvious that he's a painter, but you know what I mean, right? I just always thought that he went to fine arts school.
He's a comic artist.
That he has a fine arts degree, but that's really super cool. You learn something new every day, no matter how long you know someone.
He's going to love that one. Sorry, he knows I'm kidding him. I hope he knows that I'm in trouble. I'm talking about he's hiring
shin kicks.
He's hiring an assassin right now for that. Let's see here. No, what was it? Oh, Ezra Goldstein asks us if we watched Ahsoka.
I have not yet.
Before we get to our reviews, I'll answer that, and we'll start doing our reviews and stuff, I guess. Mark says no. Hey, Creed fan forever. Hello there. Welcome.
Hello.
Brad Wyatt has passed away. Bray Wyatt. Who is? Now, I'm got to admit, I'm not.
That name sounded. Is that a wrestler? The wrestler?
The name's Wyatt? Not.
Because Terry Funk passed away yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He's one of the all-time great wrestlers, and I'm a
fat ass. I'll be
wrestling fan.
We just love you too much, there, HB. I don't know Bray. Ezra Goldstein mentioned Bray.
That's a wrestler. If Ezra will help me out,
but rest in peace, nonetheless. But I'll answer that question. Your question in a second.
It was a big dude.
So I don't know.
Most wrestlers are, but
I heard about Terry.
Was a wrestler. Oh God.
Okay, I heard about Terry Funk. I didn't know about. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about that for you wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, thanks, Eric.
A lot of stories with the Undertaking.
Undertaker.
The Undertaking.
All your friendships mean the world to me so much. Just remember, chat. Thank you so much, Eric K. Right back at you, brother. You're a fantastic friend of the show, man. We love you, buddy. The wrencher of bronze himself. No, well, again, I don't know anything about wrestling. I know some of my friends here are fans of wrestling, of wrestlers, and they've lost some. Like all of these industries, have lost some people. Hang on a second. Ravenscroft. No, we don't have a. We don't. Well, I don't. I actually do have a Facebook page. It's not. Raquel doesn't do Facebook, but I do have a Clobberin Times Baxter Building Basement Facebook page that I've had for 15 years or so. There is a link in my description below that should take you to that. Clobberin Times, and I said I closed the group, so I've just got to click to join or whatever. Now, as soon as I'm able to get over there and approve you, please join it. Yes, so it is called Clobberin Times. Baxter Building Basement.
I have a fan page over there, but I don't run it. So if you go over there and you want to talk to me, just so you know, I'm not there. There are a couple of people who are running that fan site for me, which is incredible. It's so kind that they do that. But I typically don't answer over there unless they get a hold of me and tell me somebody said something important, and then I'll send word back. It's just mostly for promotion that I use over there. So sorry.
Okay. I didn't even know that. There you go. So yes, Clobberin Times Baxter Building Basement is what it's called over there. So Mark put something. Is that when you put Mark right there?
Oh yeah, that should take you there. But it's a closed.
Okay,
you made it a closed group, right? So I guess you approve someone.
I'll approve you. Yeah. So
well,
yeah,
I want to
there
be
it is.
approved. I want to go over there. What do you guys talk about over there?
I just promote the show
Comic
and
stuff.
and people can put any geek comic stuff they want in there. Been doing it for a good while.
Yeah, I know that one's been around for a long
All that
time.
boring comic book stuff, you know.
I think my husband and my offspring are over there at the Baxters.
Yeah, but about recently because we're getting so many stupid spammy things, they talked me into privating it. But other than that, it's and members anybody can get in. So
cool.
Oh, Ashoka. Before we start our reviews, I'll simply say that I did watch the first 2 episodes. Ashoka. I liked Clone Wars okay, and I liked Rebels. I did watch all of Rebels. I was never a fan of the character of Ahsoka too much, on the basis of I don't know why Anakin, who was not made a Jedi Master, why can he have a Jedi apprentice? I always thought it was stupid that he had a Padawan, and I didn't like Ahsoka that much. She was obviously like a younger character now than she is being played by Rosario Dawson. Rosario is good. She's fine. She played in a couple of episodes of Mandalorian season 2 before she got this show. Again, remember, it is pretty interesting that she is, playing a role that originated as an animated character. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just, this episode, the first 2 episodes are, I think, well, again, they're following too many of the idiotic. I don't want to go too far into the political stuff, but they're doing some stuff like that, and they are, how do I put it? It's dull as dishwater. For the most, it looks fairly decent. The characters are, it would take too long to go into it with you. Suffice it to say, it was kind of a tough slog to watch the first 2 episodes. I don't like any of the characters or any directions they're going with them. I fear that they're going to really mess up Thrawn. This thing, they're going in the Thrawn direction, and what they're gonna do to him and Ezra Bridger. I don't think I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I will stick with it and I will continue to watch it. Maybe it'll be good. They dropped the first 2 episodes. I'll give them credit. At least they dropped them at a decent hour on a Tuesday night in the States. Anyway. So that was okay to do that at least. And I will watch the next one. They dropped first 2 episodes. 70s rock fan. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
And it was pretty boring stuff. Fiona, I agree. It was I don't like the way
Scuba likes it.
Scuba likes it. Oh,
what?
Let me see.
He says he's really enjoying it, but I'm not sure if he's talking.
He's really enjoying
what?
it. I don't know. He might be enjoying. That's fine. Look, I didn't say I hate it. I think it's kind of, some of the writing is really weird. The acting is really weird. Like I don't like what they're basically telling us is the relationship, or was the relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine. Sabine is not the character. I know she's older now, but she's not the character. I like the actress, I guess. She's cuter. She's a cutie, but I don't really necessarily like what they've done with her. And of course, they had to get rid of all the men. And every time they see a man on the show, they kill him. And Ray, what's the guy's name? Ray, the guy that playing the old Jedi, Stevenson, who passed away like 2 weeks ago, right before the show came out. His character is the only interesting one. They're going to ruin him. He's and then we find out there's must have been like 5,000 Jedi who survived Order 66.
Yeah, right. For years, I thought Luke. There was Luke, and then Ben.
Luke, Ben, Yoda.
Yeah,
and a handful of others. I'm not sure what they're doing with what they're going to do with Ezra or Kanan, if they're gonna really ruin their backstory. What they're going to do with Thrawn looks disturbing. I don't know. I'm not too comfortable with the way they're setting things up. And the movie the episode has a weird direction. Everybody talks really slow, and every time people have a conversation that could last about 2 minutes, it lasts 17 minutes because they look at each other and stop, and they don't talk for like 5 seconds. They're looking at each other's eyes like.
Maybe they're all on LSD. Boss, did you see the gift you received from Eric?
I didn't. It feels like you're watching. It feels like we're watching it in slow motion. Oh, thank you, Eric.
What's the slow guy's name from Carol Burnett again?
Tim.
Slow guy mumbles.
Tim Conway.
Tim Conway, but what's the character called again?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
The dog is Droopy. Do you remember Droopy?
Droopy.
That's what the character's from. Droopy and I forget
everybody's droopy on this show. I will watch Ahsoka if Rosario wears the outfit in the Alexander bedroom scene. Otherwise, forget it. Well, I don't think you have much of a chance of that, pal, because that would make it very toxic. Dwarf. Oh, yeah, a little dwarf on golf. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a very exciting show, in my opinion. Mr. Turdberry. Mr. Turdberry? I don't know. It could be. I'm drawing a blank on it. It's not very exciting. I mean, even the fight scenes are just sort of boring and like. Oh, by the way, didn't they establish that Sabine is not force sensitive? How did she then, as this show tells us, she was once Ahsoka's Padawan. Why would you train a non-force sensitive to be a Jedi? They can't be a Jedi. It makes no sense. How can they be a Jedi?
There are 3 Star Wars movies. Just 3.
Right.
Nothing else.
Well, maybe because she's an exceptional woman. Maybe
nothing.
That she can learn the force powers.
She's an exceptional woman.
They can inject her with
I can't believe you
midichlorians.
just said that. All right, dude, that's it. You have forced me to say this.
Brain and brain. What is brain?
Oh, good.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
It's like the new promo poster for Star Trek Day, and they, of course, left our the most important captain off. And I was shocked they actually allowed 3 males on the poster, but I guess they snuck them through. But
Larry.
I'm awful tonight. I'm just so focused on the chat. I'm so sorry for interrupting. I'm
No.
tonight.
It's good. We're about to start with our review. This is the Clubhouse. Everyone, you should all understand by now. The Clubhouse is casual. We get started as soon as we can. We hate to make you wait. But once we get started, we talk a little bit. We talk some more than we talk a little bit. And we say hello to you and we interact with you and we do a few, notes here and there. And then we shout out and we talk some more. And then we review some stuff and then we talk about things. That's what we're here for. No structure, not much structure. Very little structure to the Clubhouse. And that's the way we like it.
We're all over the place.
As much structure as we're ever going to get is a couple of reviews like we're going to be doing. That's about it.
70s says that he loves us all, but only platonically. So I think that's just out of sheer fear that he would be exhausted if he loved us all literally.
Hey,
romantically.
70s? You haven't seen me in my best Benjamin J. Grimm red, orange rocks bikini, dude. So.
Oh, that'd be funny seeing Clobby in an orange budgie smuggler.
Not Clobby, Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing.
Well, that new jacket, you could turn into a smoking suit jacket, maybe.
What'd you say? What'd you say, number one?
No, that was me. The the smoke, the new thing sweatshirt, the hoodie that was for sale on Disney. And
I knew I could tempt you. I tempted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you could make it a thing smoking jacket. That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be wild. No, I think Raquel yelled somebody out.
Yeah, Brian Hepburn's here.
I've already yelled him out. He's been here.
Oh, well, I didn't see him talking in the chat.
See, I got everybody covered.
Pay attention to the chat.
I've got everybody covered and shouted out. I promise you that.
Sometimes I think I pay too much attention to the people in the chat.
I know. Well, it has to work though. Everyone, I can't with my idiotic, horrible, childish attention span. That's why y'all think I'm ignoring you when I'm not. I'm just trying to focus on things to say to you because I'm lousy. I just can't really look at the chat as much as some. Whereas number one, that's what she performs that wonderful first officer.
Then function. I get lost in the panel.
No, but still, it helps that you focus on the chat. We're all, getting it done.
She can do 2 things at once, unlike me and Clobby.
Unlike me. The Phantom Boomer explores.
Good stuff.
Hey, what's up, Phantom Boomer? What do you say there, Kimasabi? So, I guess we'll go we'll go knock the reviews out of the pot. What do you think? We ready for some reviewing?
Is it tomorrow we start with, or like?
Yeah, we always usually do. We can, yeah.
Just catching up with what everyone's saying about this new this faux Star Wars show.
Are they still talking about that?
Yeah, like I'm just, there's a lot of controversy here. Like it's not just one issue. It appears that there are many issues. I mean, everyone
we
here
can
knows.
talk about that some more if they want.
Well, I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. I've only watched 3 Star Wars films. I love Star Wars, but Star Wars has 3 films. There's nothing else except for maybe some toys.
Wait. We did have the holiday special.
Carrie Fisher's way of making people nap. And no Ewoks, okay? No Ewoks. Die, Ewoks, die.
I missed the day Ewoks were my biggest problem with Star Wars.
This is true. This is true. But can you do me a huge favor, please, Grand Poobah of all of geekdom? Can you please explain to me what is happening with this lightsaber thing? Someone said that a person was impaled with a lightsaber.
Oh yes, let me address that before I do, because this is something I thought about today while thinking about Ahsoka. All right, before I do, please don't let me forget to address that. But I do want to tell you something. I'm more of a superhero guy when it comes to comics and things, and I'm more of a Star Trek guy when it comes to media. Star Trek is more my heart and soul, but I do love Star Wars. Mm-hmm. The Empire Strikes Back is probably my all-time favorite movie. It's like right there in the top 2 or 3 with Superman and some others. Mm-hmm. Saw it 15 times in the theater. So I remember as a 19-year-old, just shy of 19-year-old kid, when Return of the Jedi came out, and I'm only mentioning this to cover something. I'm not to get into it about Return of the Jedi again. I had a lot of big-time problems with Return of the Jedi. In fact, I was very angry about it when I walked out of the theater in 1983. But I went back a couple of times, but it wasn't the same. So for years, I carried a chip on my shoulder, really, really trashing Return of the Jedi. And eventually, it wasn't till Disney got a hold of it that really made me appreciate it more. Now, I'm fairly well disposed toward it. I actually have a love in my heart for Return of the Jedi for all of its flaws. And I'm getting to a point with this, so please bear with me. Here's a word that you will hear raised with everything you're hearing, all the new Star Wars products right now. A word I could give you a list of hundreds of negative words I said about Return of the Jedi over the course of 1983 to 1999, and none of them included the word boring. A lot of other criticisms, none of it was boring. I still to this day, one thing I don't think you can say about Return of the Jedi, if you're a Star Wars fan, I guess if you're not into Star Wars, sure, it's probably boring. It's not boring. Never boring. Never is. I mean, it wouldn't even make my top 100 complaints about the film's problems. Now, you didn't hear the word boring really associated with Star Wars until 1999 with The Phantom Menace, and you could make some cases on that. And even with, to a lesser degree, maybe or more degree, I don't know, depending on where you sit, with Episode 2, the, the Attack of the Clones, or Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The word boring did get bandied about a good bit with the criticisms of those films. And I understand some of that, but it wasn't, filthy trash like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. The word boring has no meaning to me in those because there's so many unbelievably horrible, disgusting things. They're not boring. They make me too pissed off to be bored. After that, however, when it started making TV shows like Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, the horrible Obi-Wan show, this show here and others, the word boring Andor, a couple of these other ones, the last season of Boba Fett, the word boring has really been popping up. And now the word boring has found its place. I mean, if over the past 4 series, Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3, Andor, and a couple of the other ones, the word boring is solidified. And now it's the premier word I think of when I watched Ahsoka. I'm like, you know what? I don't mind really dumb stuff if I can criticize it and have a little fun. What scares me the hell out of me, I'm going to be so bored, I'm not even going to have an opinion. There have been times some of these shows and some of the Marvel shows have bored me out of having an opinion. It happens once in a while in a lighthearted way on some of the Star Trek for review on Saturday nights. I'll go, I was so bored. I didn't really care to have much of an opinion, and that's really sad. And
Was it more boring than Moon Knight?
it was only 2 episodes. No, it ain't done. We're not. Don't get crazy yet, but it was there. It wasn't even more boring than Andor, but it was close. It had more going on than that. So now I just wanted to put that out there, but let that soak in. Ahsoka and a lot of these Star Wars shows are bland, boring. They have no personality. And now let's move on to the freaking lightsaber. Now apparently we have seen no less than 3 examples, maybe 2. Is it 2 or 3? Where a person. All right, I'm going to give you 3 separate examples. Exhibit A, 1999, The Phantom Menace. Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn gets poked right through right through the heart with a lightsaber from courtesy of Darth Maul, and he is dead. Admiral Teague, welcome.
Hey, Admiral Teague. Good
to see
evening.
you. So Qui-Gon Jinn is killed, a Force Master, right? Okay. Fast forward to the year 2022, I guess. It's one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen with the word Star Trek on it. Called Obi-Wan Kenobi, the TV show. And this horrible character, what's her name again? Who's this Inquisitor bitch? What was her name? She was formerly, there's 2 times in this one. She's formerly a young Padawan who during General Order 66, I think she got stabbed. And later, she's gutted with a lightsaber by Darth Vader. I forget what's her name, Mark? You know her name now?
I can't remember her name.
Reva?
Yeah.
Reva, there you go. Reva, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
So Darth Vader about skewers her. And she comes the next episode, we're like, well, at least that was going as bad as the show was. I'm like, well, at least we don't have to see her anymore, right? Wrong. Oliver Belamonte, welcome.
Oh, good evening, Oliver. Nice to see you.
I was wrong. I was going to have to see her because she stood up and said, oh, well, no biggie. No biggie at all. Just a lightsaber up the gut. No problem. So we were really beaten up on the show for that, right? Well, at the end of episode 1 of Ahsoka, Sabine takes one right in the freaking gut from I forgot, some dopey. See, again, I can't, it was some kind of robot or something with her lightsaber. And at the end of the episode, so I'm like, no, I was first saying, well, she's dead. And then when it came to the end, a little bit close to the very end, I'm like, if they're cliffhanger in this, that means she's not going to be dead. Come on, no way she's not dead. But no, she's got to be on the whole show because it's Ahsoka. So I'm going, yeah, she's going to be alive. And sure enough, she's alive. By the end of the episode, she's just jumping around for like nothing happened. Like you said,
that's crazy. That's
Admiral
not
Teague,
what
like
a lightsaber doesn't do. That
it's just a flesh wound, exactly. So I'm like, this show already had no credibility whatsoever. Zachariah.
Yeah, I would stop watching it at that point. I mean, that would mean that it's it's a completely useless weapon. When before it used to think to yourself when you were sitting in the theater watching the old Star Wars films, how much training it would take. It made you think of like the Japanese, is it Catan? Not Catan. Is it Catan? I can't remember the proper name for it. But when they fold the metal until it's so,
that's a samurai sword, yeah.
Yeah, but it's called something. I think it's Catan.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's when they fold
Katana.
the katana, that's it. And they fold the metal so many times. I mean, it could slice paper. And so when I was younger and I was watching those Star Wars films, all I kept thinking of is, wow, these Jedis have to train, because it would be like, you can't put a samurai sword or a katana in the hands of a toddler. You would really have to know what you're doing when you're wielding a weapon like that. And now It seems like lightsabers are nothing. They just seem like goofball stuff.
The lights turned down.
Well, maybe it was a new self-cauterizing lightsaber made for safety. It's a new regulation OSHA put in. So maybe that explains it.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, look. Oh, fuck you, man! You need a lightsaber thingy
I have
right
my
now.
lightsaber. I have
Then you
three
would
lightsabers in this
remove
room,
all
yeah.
of the danger from it. The whole reason
Princess
why
Tony,
you're a
that's right,
Jedi
though.
is because you have to train as a swordsman, the same as everyone did for the Lord of the Rings
Hey,
movies.
Thing's
You
here.
have to train.
Thing. Thing ring, do your thing. What's up, buddy? Good to see you
Hey,
there.
Thing!
Barber. But Fiona made a point about that, how Vader took Luke caught Vader like on the shoulder in the fight, and that hurt. It hurt Darth Vader, for
Yeah.
God's sake.
Yeah,
I mean, he's mostly machine,
yeah.
and it hurts. I mean, but if you get gutted, I'm sorry, it's game over, or
Yeah,
should be. I mean,
that doesn't
Game
why not
over,
get
man.
the alma mother?
Game over.
Game over, man. I know. I knew what you said.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that doesn't make sense to me, and I also think that what it does is it demeans the ability of the sword wielder, of the swordsman. The swordsman is supposed to is a part of the magic of Star Wars. When you think to yourself, this is a mighty and powerful weapon. You need to be careful at all times while you're you're touching it and you're using it. It's deadly from every angle. And now it's nothing. What is it now? A cattle prod?
Yeah,
Just
basically a
like-
lightsaber battle. But hey there, Cardi.
Hey,
Cardinal
Cardi!
Tim, what's
Nice
up?
to see you, honey.
Colonel Sin.
Let's go on with let's get our reviews out of here. Then let's get started with our reviews. But yeah, everyone.
Alrighty.
So look, I'll watch the next one. I guess. What the hell? I got nothing better to do. But who knows? Maybe I'll start getting some sleep.
Put you to sleep, yeah.
Disney, Star Wars, Disney, Marvel. Good for your
Ravenscroft
sleep.
says, well, folks, it's bedtime in the great
All right.
Midwest. Wish I didn't have to work. Take care and stay cool, friends. Ravenscroft.
Good night.
Good night, my friend.
Good night,
Night.
Ravenscroft, and good night, Penny. I think Penny had to run.
Did Penny leave as
I think
well?
I think she did. If not, I hope not. But I thought she said so.
Night, sweet lady. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, indeed. So remember when Qui-Gon got stabbed through a Drew steel door and melted it? That's true. They
Yep.
I mean, they were using lightsabers, stabbing him through these gigantic steel doors. And well, not just in Phantom Menace. I think they did some other ones. But one of those in a human body.
Yeah, it's
I-
dumb. It's dumb.
It's-
And what it does is it doesn't just make the
Well-
show dumb. Like I said, it also destroys the storytelling world and the world that they've built up through previous good storytelling. Because when you're thinking about a lightsaber, you should be thinking about somebody who has had to train their whole life how to wield a sword. This person must be a swordsman, must be a swords person. This is like a katana. This is something that is very frightening to even pick up. You don't even want to put your hand in the wrong position. And now it seems like, it's a hula hoop it's a taser hula hoop. It's just this, a color thing that you can just put all over your whole body, no problem. And it doesn't kill you. Okay.
The
Well, that
Jedi
started
Knights would
with,
say, "Yeah, good one, Peter."
Oh, Simply
This will tr-
Steve.
Simply
Hey.
Steve-O.
Yeah,
Steve.
Simply Steve. This will trigger Dad Man though. He can't stand that Darth Maul came back, and they kind of started with that. Darth Maul got cut in half by Obi-Wan, and he he came back in the
Dave
cartoons.
Filoni brought him back.
Yeah, in the cartoon. So that drove. If you want to trigger Dad Man, he's a super nice
was
guy, but mention Darth Maul
was pretty
coming
dumb.
back,
It was
we'll
dumb.
go on a
Ooh.
20-minute rant. Yeah, well, it is
You
dumb.
got a
but,
gift from Michael Beacom, boss.
Michael Bacon, thank you, buddy. He says, going to lurk mode. We'll be listening, but don't think the TV link registers that we're still here. That doesn't matter.
Aw.
Look, you're here in spirit. Don't ever worry about that.
That's
but thank
right.
you. Be
And-
seeing you, everyone. Be seeing you, my friends, and be seeing you, Cassandra. Take care.
Yeah. Be seeing you. What the boss said. What the boss said.
Yeah. All right, reviews. Let's get on P's and Q's here, everybody.
Okay, boss.
Tonight I'm ready for review of Tales of Tomorrow.
Yes, boss. If Mark wants to bring up the document,
Yep.
I think we only have like 2 or 3 left, folks.
yeah.
This is Tales of Tomorrow. Read to me, Air Doctor. This is season 2, episode 31 in the United States of America. And this was first broadcast on March 20th, 1953. The writer is Alvin Sapinsley. and he is a TV writer. I'm going to read a summary, but you're not going to hear me giving any type of attribution or citation, as it were. And that's just because this is like a little summary that I throw together while I'm watching the episode. And that's due to the fact that, IMDb sucks. It's just so bad. Anyway, we happen upon a professor in his library. He chooses a volume and hands it to someone off camera. He exclaims, "Read to me, Herr Doctor." The voice reads Sherlock Holmes. He begins, a male voice begins reciting a story from Sherlock Holmes. We leave this scene and we join a man and a woman in the foyer of the same home. The man is welcomed into the parlor. It is the professor's daughter and his erstwhile pupil. They move into the library and disturb the reading. The man is Sidney Strong, a physicist student. Sidney is introduced to the reader, and it's a robot. He is very frightened, and so, he reacts. And here's this robot sitting comfortably in the library chair, of course, with no emotion. It is a robot that the professor has fashioned as a jab at his former administrator or supervisor. Now, they don't really make that clear here because he was a professor at the university, and Herr Doctor was either his administrator or perhaps his PhD supervisor. They don't really specify, maybe perhaps because they don't know the difference. This author doesn't know the difference. So I just put administrator, supervisor. Anyway.
Claude Salling, welcome.
Good evening,
Hi,
Claude.
Claude.
Greetings.
He explains the might of the machine, that it is merely a gadget meant to recite books on demand. His daughter voices her apprehension about the robot, and then she angrily quits the room. She's quite frustrated that he's made this robot. The robot continues to read. We fade to black. And then, we rejoin the story the following day. The professor's daughter has called Sidney to confide in him that her father is fully conversing at length with the machine. It's no longer just reciting books to the professor. She fears that her father has gone senile and that his senility is worsening. We fade to black again. A new scene. We're back with the robot and the professor. We're reading Don Quixote while the professor sleeps in his chair. The daughter and Sidney return from a date. They're starting to get all mushy squishy with each other. She enters the library and scolds her father for sleeping in his chair. She's kind of rotten about it and says, must I do everything for you? Why, can't you even be responsible enough to get yourself into bed? I didn't really like that part too much, but she's a young woman. She was out on a hot to trot
Tobar
date.
the robot. Hey.
Yeah,
you're right.
Good evening, Tobar the robot. She probably just wanted to, canoodle on the couch or couch, as Americans call it, the sofa, and he was in the way. Anyways, the robot stands up and demands attention. The daughter tries to shut it off with a remote control. The robot becomes violent and demands to be taught all of the professor's academic knowledge. And here is when the Frankenstein story, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story, kicks in. Then the robot makes the professor and everyone present his prisoner to its demands. It threatens to kill them if they disobey. The machine then goes into a sort of Pinocchio spiel. It wants to achieve personhood and forces the professor and daughter to serve it 24 hours a day. So they're serving it 24 hours a day, and they are not allowed any rest. So they keep. So the machine the robot presses them to continue this 24 hours a day education of it. And of course, the professor is quite aged, so this is, a huge impact on him. The professor is only allowed to rest after devising an extremely difficult written examination. All of a sudden, Sidney returns. The robot begins strangling the professor, threatening to kill him if they opened the door. So here's the daughter standing at the door saying, "You can't come in, you can't come in." And here's the robot with his hands around the professor's neck, or his robot hands around the professor's neck, threatening to strangle him to death. And then the robot does something quite strange. After Sydney is told to go away, the robot turns and starts reciting Sonnet 18 to the professor's daughter, and begins professing its love for the daughter. And of course, she spurns its overtures, and it is quite ugly. And then I can't tell you how it ends. And the reason why I can't tell you how it ends is because I wanted to bring Tales of Tomorrow to this friendship group, to Clubby's Clubhouse, because I wanted to share what real storytelling is like when corporations don't interfere, and where you have a nice short storyteller, it's turned into a teleplay, then the corporations pay to put it on air. And so I think that's a really healthy and beautiful way for arts and entertainment to interact with corporations. So I want you to actually watch this stuff. I want you to get in there and watch it. So I'm not going to spoil the ending. However, I will say this. I thought this was a solid piece of 22 minutes of excellent science fiction. We have some Pinocchio aspects here. We have some of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was lovely to hear Sonnet 18. It was lovely to hear some Don Quixote. It was just good, and I really enjoyed it very much. I gave it a 9 out of 10. So now I'll throw it over to the boss and Mark. Boss, what did you think of Read to Me, Herr Doctor?
Very interesting. That was very good. This is AI in 1952, basically. I guess. When you say, I mean, it was just a little ahead of its time.
I 1000% agree. This is definitely
it's incredible.
Technology as a terror tale, or be careful how you handle technology tale. And this is Mary Shelley, but it's AI, and I totally agree with you. Sorry, I was on mute because I have some neighbors walking their dog and they're talking loud.
I'm not buying that she's that young though, but other than that,
I didn't buy she was young either.
But I thought, again, it's just when you watch this episode in its context, and you think about how long ago this was and all the things that predates, it's mind-boggling. It really is.
Yeah,
but it's also very well done. So, I definitely would give this one an 8.
Yeah,
and then we have to stop ourselves because there's so much to talk about. You can't, because it's not spoilering. So, engineer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I give it an 8.5. I think I thought the ending was a little bit too abrupt and a little bit too sharp. But again, that's part and parcel of a 22 minute show.
Yeah,
so you can kind of forgive that. But if it had a little, even just the 5 minutes, but who would have thought in the 50s when the show came out that it aired March 20th, 1953, that I have a device in my room, which thankfully that Alex device doesn't have a body, I guess, because that could go wrong. But I could say, Alex, what's the and I'll get a response, which would have been magic. To quote Arthur C. Clarke, in the 50s, you'd have a device that you could talk to. So some of the things that don't make sense, of course, are how the professor is able to make something that's so high tech with a memory. But you just look past that and have to ignore that. But that's what's, and everyone talks about like it's a new thing in the news, but for us science fiction fans, I mean, you can go back to the beginning. It's been around forever. And Star Trek had body transference into an android and androids, and you've had of course, famously, the Terminator is probably the one that's most ingrained in popular culture. But in some ways, 2001: A Space Odyssey, that's an AI gone wrong too. With Dave and Hal having their conflict. So this pre-shadows all of that. And the robot doesn't look great, but he does fall in love with the lady. So he is becoming human, almost like Data wished to have emotion on Star Trek. So this is 22 minutes. Take the special effects with the grain of salt. I guess they did what they could with the robot. But it asks a lot of great questions, and it's interesting because a lot of scientists speculate that if we ever maybe aliens already here, but if we ever do meet them, it's going to be the AI that's left over from whatever civilization was able to travel to us. And
Mhm.
a lot of people speculate that AI could end up taking over taking over the planet. Colossus, the Forbin project, which we
Mhm.
reviewed here.
Yeah.
That's basically that scenario. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting for a 50s show. So it's on YouTube.
It's
It's free to
good.
watch. Go watch it. Yep.
Well, unlike
Greetings,
Data, though, he didn't
Daniel Link.
have multiple techniques, which I think is why Sonnet 18 didn't work.
Daniel Link,
Yeah.
welcome. Good evening there. And,
Daniel, welcome.
we have some pushback from the robot community that says, Tobar the Robot says this episode is pure slander. Robots are friends to humans. Okay, I guess sometimes they hate them. That robot was a hateful robot. And that's no wonder he looked like an AIM officer.
Bender. Is his name Bender?
Should have been named Bender, yeah. He says, I would never do this. Well, almost never.
Oh,
Well,
good
not to
Tobar.
everyone, or at least not to the people in the chat, or some people in the chat. It's funny. It's almost like this Tobar's watched this episode.
Mhm.
It's always good to see you, Tobar. You're you're a robot that is welcome here always.
You are.
Yeah.
One good robot. You're a good robot.
Well, I've got my Robbie the robot watching over me and my B9 robot, so hopefully they would protect me. So, I just put out a short a couple days ago too on the B9 robot from Lost in Space at Terrificon. So
Yes.
check that out. Yep.
Lost in space.
I, for one, welcome our new Robolord, says Fiona. Yeah, it does look like Ditko wore an AIM suit for Halloween. Yeah. So
Right.
well, there we go. And that one, that was quick.
If anyone in the chat watched this episode,
yes. Anyone got any views on this episode?
mhm,
Rating? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Please go ahead and put it in the chat, and it would be our pleasure to put it up on the marquee and discuss it.
I shall put in a good word for you all with the robot takeover. Thank you, Tobor.
Well, that's so nice of Tobor.
Maybe you can get like you can get some of the big guys like the T1000 to come on the show or something.
Yeah.
We'd interview him.
Good robot.
Good robot. Oh, say hello to your pal Data for us.
Yes.
All right, so what is? We'll see if anyone said anything yet. I'll have you guys anything. You don't have to. I mean, we're gonna start with our next review anyway.
We are.
If you have anything to say, though. Oh, who wouldn't want to meet Robbie? Yeah, I love Robbie.
I'd love to have a Robbie in my home one day when I find
Oh yeah.
one. I will not leave unless it leaves with me. What is your question, beautiful Princess Fiona?
What's up, Fiona? What's the question? No problem, Chris. By the way, that's cool. Why would the robot that was designed to read books need the professor to read books to him?
Because the professor initially was training with only fiction, and then it went all weird.
And it wanted to read about facts. Yeah.
Yeah, it wanted to be taught everything the professor knew. So they quickly left the fiction area. And this had a market effect, though, because the daughter mentions that it didn't matter that he learned nonfiction, because his mind, his computations had already been so utterly polluted by fiction. That it was confused by the fiction it read as to what it was capable of, and certainly whether or not she could love it. So the fiction actually ruined the robot's mind, and I think this is the person who wrote this. I think this is a nod to Don Quixote, of course. And at the end of Don Quixote, we find out that he is a man who does not want to give up on the world of pretend. He doesn't want to give up on fiction. He doesn't want to give up on the literary world. He doesn't want to, do you know what I'm saying? So I think that was like trying to accomplish that in 22 minutes. So it's quite astounding that somebody would even try to do that. I was pretty impressed by it.
Well, what are you saying about me? Because I've got toys all over my room. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Oh, this was direct. This was a direct assault on you and me, because it was quite rightly trying to talk about the problems of it. You know, the words fiction's wonderful, but so is nonfiction. Keep the proper balance and keep a footing in the real world. And just because you can enjoy fiction doesn't mean you have to believe it and live it as if it's true. And this robot didn't know the difference. All he was doing was feeding this machine that just takes in information as fact, because it didn't teach it first or give it the ability to distinguish between reality and fiction, and therefore everything fed into him. That was truth, that was reality to this being, or this being, sort of a being, and that's all it understood. And when he fed it reality, he still, by that point, since there was so much fiction in him, then he put all that reality in there. It just didn't work because he didn't put the proper balance into him.
Yeah, and he couldn't understand the difference between reality and fiction.
And I imagine it's a lot of people. If you don't, a lot of us geeks, we love escapism. We love imagination is so important to us because it's our favorite time. Our favorite kind of entertainment is imaginative entertainment, be it the serious type or the less serious type, whatever it is. It's what we enjoy the most. When it's true, but if you don't have a proper grip on reality before that, or you're not taught that down the road, given a sense of perspective of reality, then you usually turn out like me, and you don't want to do that. So, and that's why this episode was actually predicting me like a good decade or so before I was born, which I was pretty impressed with after I saw it for that reason.
And that becomes the critical linchpin in the story too, the fiction versus nonfiction.
Yeah,
I won't say anything more, but that's which is a mark of good writing, because it wasn't just a simple. I mean, on the surface of it, you could say it's a simple story, but not when you read into it or analyze it. There's a lot going on there, which in 22 minutes too, which is great.
Yeah. So we got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. What else did we get in? We got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. We got Cervantes, Don Quixote. We got Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, and there was one more literary reference. I forget which one. Let me just go and look here and just see if it jogs my memory. Oh, I can't think of what. There was another one. There was another literary reference. He was reading something. What was he reading? It wasn't the Iliad. I can't remember now. Anyway, it was quite literary. I thought it was quite good. And then the person showed that they had actually read. It wasn't the pre-internet world wonderful, where people actually read books. They didn't just go to Wikipedia, read 2 sentences, and then go to cocktail parties and pretend that they read books. It was so wonderful that the author actually put the story within the story, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. If I'd ever gone to any of those parties, I would probably, I don't know, I wouldn't have known any books to make up to pretend would impress people to read. So just tell them about the comics, I guess. Or I would screw up and tell them about a book I really did read, and they'll go, "What is that?" Well, it's a Robert A. Heinlein book, and it was really good. They wouldn't know who that is, right? That wouldn't impress them like Homer or anything.
Yeah, but it is important to recognize that if you look at the studies for folks who say that they've read books and they actually haven't, the statistics are embarrassing.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I've read some studies, and not all, but some. I believe, isn't it 4 and 5? I believe it's 4 and 5 people who were at one study showed like 4 and 5 people who were at a cocktail party in wanting to impress. They were stating that they had read things they hadn't read. In fact, now you can actually purchase off of Amazon and from other bookstores something akin to Cole's Notes. It's actually an abbreviated version of Cole's Notes, where it gives you the talking points of the entire book, and then what to regurgitate at a party to apply it so you seem more intelligent. So it's actually
Wow.
a huge problem because
Sounds like
everyone's
Cliff
lying
Notes.
about reading stuff they've never read.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Imagine when we have
Notes.
Imagine we have Google Glass as contacts in our eyes, and we could have all the Cliff Notes and all the information that being sent to you real time. Everyone's name and what their background is. They're speculating. You'll have that some days, like a heads up display as you walk around. You'll have all and the other thing they want to do is have virtual ads that will, as you walk around, the billboards will change to advertise, for things that they think you would want to purchase or buy. So it's
That's all
nowadays
happening with your cell phone.
I would just tell them now. Nowadays, I just tell them basically the answer is have you read so and so? The answer, if let's say it's one I actually have read, I'd go, actually, yes and no. I have read that book, but I haven't. What do you mean? Well, I've read it, but I can't remember a word of it. So did I actually read it? Or did I just think I read it? And it doesn't matter because I could have read it an hour ago, and 2 hours later, I'm not going to be able to retain the information anyway. So let's just say I've never read anything in my life because I can't retain information anymore.
You're quite well read, but I think that
I'm not well read at all. I can't even read.
Stop it. I just think that some books stay with you more than others, but something different is happening, and it is that people don't have the attention span now in order to take the time to sit down and read a book, but they would like the clout of it. There's even a new movement now of folks who are buying books, and then they're actually putting the outside covers on them like we would do in high school to protect the rented books. I was a poor kid. We had to rent books, but and they put them on their bookshelves so that all of the books are the same color, or they place them backwards into the book case. So they're just purely for decoration. There are even folks right now on YouTube that have created entire tutorials for how to turn a whole bunch of books into just a fascia. So you actually buy all these precious, beautiful books with these marvelous titles written by society-shaping authors, and they gut them out and turn them into things like plant stands and all sorts of crazy stuff. So there is a problem.
Yeah,
there is a significant issue that is going on with literacy. So you have some people within sociality that are trying to clout chase, and so they say they've read things like Foucault, or they've read things like Theodore Adorno, and they haven't. And then you have others who feel very ashamed that they've never read the classics. So if asked at a cocktail party if they've read the classics, they say that they have when they haven't. So there are different statistics shaping up, and then, like I said, there are those who haven't read at all and are buying these how to talk about Foucault at a cocktail party, how to talk about Adorno at a cocktail party, how to talk about Mary Shelley or Cervantes or Homer or Hesiod at a party. They're selling like these pamphlets now that you learn how to do it. So there are all of these literacy statistics shaping up, and they're all worth investigating because they're quite scary. They're very, very scary. I couldn't imagine sitting across from somebody and saying to someone, "Oh, did you enjoy the Theogony?" And that person saying to me, "Oh, yes, I enjoyed it very much," having no idea what I'm talking about. That's quite sad.
Is that another word for clam pizza?
Yep.
No.
I was at a party once, and someone asked me, "Could you name a book that you've read so much that you memorized it?" And I said, "I can name you a book I read so much I memorized it, and then I burned it. It's called Fahrenheit 451." They told me to burn it for some reason after I finished reading it.
Yeah.
And after I memorized it. Was I wrong to do that? And they said they thought it was not funny. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I think you're funny, Clobby.
Sorry, it wasn't funny. I mean, but at least they got the joke. It just they didn't think it was funny.
Well,
and then I said, with my memory, it's screwed up because now I'm the only because we're all. I am that book. My name is Fahrenheit 451, and I can't remember any of it. Not true. I can watch the movie though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. JT Kirk, yeah, it's of all of the major philosophers that you study in your third and fourth year of university. So it's like a collection of them. I think, like Derrida's in there and yeah, just like there it's like a who's who of what you study in your final year, in your third or fourth year of university, if you're studying philosophy. So yeah, so that's the fakery. But like I said, all of the different statistics shape up in different ways, right? Like the fact that folks don't read news anymore; they only read headlines. But studies prove that they form their opinions based entirely upon the headline and how people respond to it in threads on social media. So we're heading towards idiocracy. We're racing toward it like pyroclastic flow. It's going for it, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
But before we get there, we're going to review Jerry Anderson's UFO.
Yes, we will. And I just want to say one more thing to Princess Fiona.
The Giants.
Princess Fiona. I just want you to know that okay, oh no, it's not you. You said a parrot can recite Shakespeare, but it can't understand it. Okay. No, I thought you were actually asking about a guide to that older version of English, because I always like to tell students, especially students who come to me for private tutoring, who are in great distress over Shakespeare. I always tell them something very important, and that is, you can read Shakespeare, but it's very important for you to go and watch Shakespeare. These are plays, and then you can read Shakespeare, and then the light bulb will go off, and it's very nice to go and watch Shakespeare and take some notes about your impressions and what your thoughts are. And then it's very good to get a Little Penguin classics university version of Shakespeare, because then it has all of the footnoting that explains all of that old language and anything that might not resonate with you, words that may not resonate with you. So that's a great way to fall in love with Shakespeare. First, to remember, Shakespeare isn't just for rich people who grew up with blue blood, who, have 75 names and they think they're really something special. Shakespeare is for poor people too. Shakespeare is for middle class people too. And Shakespeare is about going to a play. It's not about access to the book. It's about going to the play and enjoying it. And I definitely recommend all of the comedies and the other advice that I gave. Watch the play first, see if you like it, then get the academic copy of the book if you'd like to read it. But Shakespeare isn't for reading. Shakespeare is for watching. Anyway, I hope that inspires everyone.
It was 100%. Yeah, it's so much better to watch the plays, and then the words come to life. And Shakespeare wasn't written, as you said, it was written for everyone. It wasn't, highfalutin. It's just the language. And actually, my mother-in-law is a teacher, and she said it was actually some of the language they thought was simplified or made for the commoners. Of course, it's today it's seems strange, but when you hear it performed on a play, it comes to life and it totally transforms. Mm-hmm. And it just, for me, it was always much easier to watch it as a play and then read it, but and then you can go back and then watch it again, and then you kind of, your brain gets in sync with the language. So
yes,
of course,
and he was a great fan of gesticulation. That's why it resonates so much more when you're watching it. Is he really loved the gesticulation. He loved the slapstick. He loved the melodramatic, emotive stuff, especially in the comedies. It's just hysterical. You will just cry laughing. It is accessible to everyone.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
There you go.
And if you're ever taking a test, make sure if you read we had a teacher in high school, he would specifically have questions on a test if there was a movie on the book, or he would, if something was different, so he'd make sure to read the book, so he could always tell the kids that only watch the movie. They would get a bunch of answers wrong. So I'm thinking like Zorba the Greek, like you had to read the book, otherwise if you watch the movie,
Yeah,
you're
the
not doing
movies
so
don't.
well.
But that doesn't apply with Shakespeare, folks. I want you to know that
Oh,
does
yeah,
not
yeah,
apply with
yeah.
Shakespeare. You can go to your local university, and in your archives, there will actually be the full productions of the full plays, word for word, every single word that was in the play. And you can watch the whole play. You don't have to read it. Well, you should read it, especially if you're in university taking it. But what I'm saying is that your first experience with Shakespeare should be one of those really terrific plays, and you can get them from the archive at your university, and you can take them home and you can watch them, and you can have a great time with them, and it'll be marvelous. Anyway,
And they're
that's it.
also on YouTube. So here's my English teacher showed Take Me to the Shrew with Mark Singer, and I'm like, oh, he's from Beastmaster. And she's like, what's Beastmaster? And I'm like, that's the guy from Beastmaster. I'm like, can you show Beastmaster in class after this one? She's like, no. But this is on YouTube. It's actually a really good version of Taming of the Shrew. And you'll see Mark Singer.
Nice. Well, let's get to Time Lash, guys.
All right.
UFO. This week's UFO episode is Time Lash. This is season 1, episode 18 in the fine country they call the USA. I love all of my American friends. ITV, so for Canadians and those in the British Commonwealth, you're looking at episode 13, and this is production code 24. And we're of course following the production code because we're following the Fanderson watching order, because Mark has been reading from the marvelous UFO book. Now, Time Lash first aired on February 17th, 1971. And now I'm going to throw it over to Mark. Mark, would you please read from the Bible, the UFO Bible?
Wait. Hold on. I got to get my gloves. I was just eating some
Put
potato
on your
chips.
gloves. Don't forget to clear your throat.
I thought my glasses.
I thought you wanted to read from yours.
No,
Raquel doesn't want to open her book. She doesn't want to look at it. Yeah, don't even look at it.
Mark, are you looking at my book? Mark, don't look at my book. Avert your eyes. Avert your impure eyes. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so this book, we don't have the picture anymore, I guess, but it's a complete book. Jerry Anderson's UFO. Chris Bentley with forward by himself, Ed Bishop.
Hey, Doc Fortune.
Hey, Doc.
Go ahead.
Hey, Doc.
Continue.
This episode is Time Lash. Teleplay by Terrence Feely. Directed by Cyril Frankel. Straker suddenly appears in shadow control and starts smashing up the equipment. Pursued by Foster, he escapes in the studio complex and climbs onto the roof of an outbuilding where Colonel Lake lies unconscious. Foster finally apprehends him, and Dr. Jackson discovers that Straker is in a state of severe mental and physical shock. Lake recovers, but is suffering from amnesia covering a period of about 2 hours. On Henderson's instructions, Jackson injects Straker with a drug that unlocks his mind, and he recalls the events of the 5 hours previously. Straker and Lake are returning to the studio when their car is attacked by a UFO, freezing them in a strange light. And that was a really psychedelic scene. Very cool.
Oh, yes.
After the UFO leaves the area, they continue their journey to the studios, but are surprised when the night suddenly becomes day as they pass through the gates. Kind of like happens in movies all the time, but this happened for real. Straker and Lake find everything and everyone completely motionless, both on the studio lot and in shadow control. The aliens have frozen time. As the effect of the alien force begins to take hold on them, Straker injects them both with X50, a drug not related to the super soldier serum, a drug that speeds up their bodies to 10 times normal. He suggests that the aliens are unable to land as they're still in a different continuum and must first shed some of the field force their UFO has built up during their journey. Lake suddenly spots Operative Turner running around a corner, and they pursue him onto the studio lot, tracking him with a portable sonar seeker. Turner taunts them using a transistor microphone, revealing that he has fixed a piece of equipment in shadow control to act as an aerial to transmit the aliens' power. the aliens having promised to put him in charge when they take over. And that's the classic villain giving the speech, giving away a little bit too much. But spotting the UFO hovering over the studio, preparing to land, Straker gives himself another shot of X-50 and takes a Molly portable rocket launcher onto the roof to target the craft.
So cool.
Turner attacks, knocking out Lake and snatching the trigger key from the Molly. Now, initially, I thought Molly was going to refer to another drug or something they were going to take, but minor aside there. Straker chases Turner around the studio lot, but every time he opens fire on the man with the rifle, Turner is unhurt. Turner explains that Straker can only see where he's been or where he's going to be, but not where he is at present. So Banff, we'll add the Banff 9th crawler Banff in there. So Straker shoots in the opposite direction from where Turner appears to be, fatally wounding him. Oh, that was such a good scene. Grabbing the trigger key, he returns to the roof and fires at the UFO with the Molly. Damaged UFO retreats. Back in shadow control, Straker smashes the equipment, destroying Turner's area and disrupting the aliens' hold on time.
Yep.
And I've got to make note of the one scene in here where, unfortunately, there was a guy that was looking where he shouldn't have been looking, and he was stuck doing that for the
Dead
whole
man.
5 hours. That must have been horrible.
Dad man's here. Hey, David.
Hey, Dad man.
Dead
Dad clan. And Don behind your powers. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Don.
Don
So
Power Ranger.
Here are the notes. Oh, the guy was, when he was happy, he was trying to grab a piece of paper, but he was stuck looking probably where he shouldn't have been looking for about 5 hours. But I don't know.
Yeah,
if you
looking
remember.
down at Laos.
Yeah, that was great.
And
that was fun.
They reused the dress.
Yeah, the dress
Sylvia
was
reused that dress 3 times. This is the 3rd time we've reused that dress.
Yeah. And you also got a scene that looked like Snow White, but I don't think that was our Snow White anymore. But anyway, here are the notes here. Terrence Freely's script for Time Lash clearly specified that it should be nighttime outside during the scenes at the start, in which Straker is chased by Foster and the guards. See Oops opposite. Many of the scenes in the studio lot in the episode were shot in the area surrounding J&K Stage Administration Block at Pinewood Studios. Straker leaves his studio office from the door of what is K Stage Electrician's storeroom and runs down a corridor that separates J&K stages. Later, he sets up the Molly on the roof of J&K Stage Administration Block. When Straker and Lake first arrive at the studios, they pass through the Tudor-style double lodge at the main Pinewood entrance. Driving on, they stop the car on the genuine cobbles of a standing Baker Street set that had been built on the Pinewood Black lot the previous year for Billy Wilder's The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes at the cost of £80,000. This set seen in a number of subsequent Pinewood productions, such as Carry On, Air Convenience, before being demolished in 1973. The big white hand being passed between 2 studio workers had previously appeared as part of the furnishing of Joan Collins' apartment in 5 Miles to Midnight, an episode of the an episode of the Persuaders. It turns up again in UFO and Mindbender.
Yep.
In the studio prop store, the mask of the monstrous Odd Bod from Carry On Screaming 1966 is visible on the left as Straker and Lake enter. The Molly prop previously appeared as Roper's handheld rocket launcher in the closing scenes of Flight Path. The studio buggies were Barnard sports cars supplied by Overton Chalet Associates. Some of the incidental music in this episode was originally composed by Barry Gray for Stingray and the Secret Service.
Yay!
So I'll do the oops. We can talk about it. I guess we'll do the oops after. Save the oops. Yep. And the casting. Yep. But I thought this was really another amazing episode, and a couple times tough to follow exactly what was not that tough to follow, but there was a little disjointedness, but maybe that adds to the charm of the episode. A lot of deja vu.
Well, for me, this is I've always called this the prisoner episode. So for me, I actually think that this might be the best of this is among the best. For me, this is like a top 5 episode for me, and every time I rewatch UFO, it goes up and down, but it's always in that top 5 because this is a total prisoner episode. It's that same style, and it also has some elements that are in my notes that I want to talk about why I love it so much. So
sure,
I'll shoot on that, and then we can hash it out.
Sure, go
Okay,
for it.
so this is a scary opening scene. It is very jarring to see Straker in a violent frenzy. You're quite frightened because this is a very steady Eddie guy. He has brute strength, and here we see that he can kick butt on lots of guys. He retreats, telling Miss Elin to bar the door. I love that Miss Elin is back. Everybody knows I'm a huge Miss Elin fan. I love the scene where he frantically charges through the studio while pursued by Paul and shadow agents and then the police. I love this whole scene. I love how powerful he is. I like that he's physically powerful, and that he's outsmarting everyone. I love that. I like that he races to Colonel Lake on unconscious on the roof. I like this because he actually prioritizes her life over anyone else's, even his own at this point. So I really enjoyed that part. This is the prisoner episode. It looks and feels like it to me. I love Dr. Jackson. I love when Dr. Jackson gets a lot of lines. I love the high-speed chase with UFO and Ed and Lake, and the UFO scanning. That whole high-speed chase scene is great. It's got lots of practical effects, and I love all of the ideas in this episode, the effects and the still performances. So like when they're scanned in the car, and how everyone is a still performance. It's not CGI. Those practical effects, all of the ideas behind the practical effects, when he smashes the stool with the 2x4, and then they establish that it's because something was in motion and that's why it's still. Oh yeah, and then of course I put this is the third episode for the leather dress. Also, Colonel Lake. I watched an interview about UFO, and it was actually said that Virginia wore that shirt from home. Sylvia liked it and said, "We're running with that shirt." So I thought that was cool, although that probably doesn't matter to anyone unless they're in cosplay. This episode always reminds me of a wink of an eye from TOS. I like that it plays on that, and you can see some of its influences here. I love that Colonel Lake winds up hanging out of a moonroof of a speeding car, laying down a hail of bullets from a machine gun. I don't think anyone has told the girl from The Filth or Jennifer Lawrence that this happened, because they believe they're the first, but they're not. So once again, I love seeing one of the most beautiful women to ever appear on television hanging out of the moonroof of a speeding car, laying down a hail of bullets from a machine gun. This is definitely not Jennifer Lawrence. The rocket launcher, the Molly, is fabulous. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that you're worried about the kickback, so he has to harness it in that arm. I love that. And I loved the scene where Straker anticipates where he's going to be, and of course lays down a hail of bullets and winds up killing him because he's jumping like wink of an eye to and fro in time. And that's all. Those are all my notes. This is a prisoner episode for me. It's got touches of wink of an eye. It's just great fun. I think it's really well written. I think it's very cerebral, very beautiful. It's just good stuff. And that's all I have to say.
Cool. Mark?
Oh, just I love this episode. And as I was watching, I was like, definitely reminds me of The Prisoner. You can't. I don't know if I could articulate properly, but it just
Feely's a prisoner writer.
Yeah, so it just okay, yeah, but it just felt like it. It was just it's that kind of atmosphere, and with Straker on the run. And what's great about it is it opens up and you're like, oh, the aliens have mind. Are they controlling his mind? What's happening? Why is he gone so nuts? What the heck is going on? And why is he so strong too? So I'm like, oh, is that a double? Because we've had doubles before on the show. So you're thinking maybe that could be a an alien doubling, a Straker somehow infiltrated him, and then when the our favorite secretary says, "How did he get in there?" and then
New Zealand.
they're New Zealand, yeah. How did he get in there? And no one knows how he got
This is your
out.
first time watching this episode?
I've seen it, but probably a
It's
couple
so
years
good,
ago. So,
hey?
yeah,
Oh,
so that's
it's
when
so good.
I'm trying to do I didn't write down my show notes. I'm trying to remember from my bad brain, but
You don't
yeah,
have
it's
bad brain.
so they have all these little that's not an Easter egg, but a breadcrumb, I guess, to explain what's happening if you watch it in reverse. I don't know what Captain Finity would think of this. It's not really time travel, but it's messing with time. So there's no alternate reality. So I think he would approve, but I don't want to speak for him. But yeah, it's just such an impressive episode, especially with Straker. It's a classic comic book trope where the villain, keeps talking and tells us about his plans and tells us there's an antenna there because I guess he knows he's just going to kill. He's just waiting to kill Straker. He's just toying with them, and then he makes the mistake of saying, and you see the camera pans in and there's a close up, to show Straker's mind spinning when he says, I'm not where I am right now, and he says, well, let me just swing the machine gun around, and he knows that the guy is within range probably, and then he takes him out. That was an AA plus scene, and also the scene where they crash the little racing cars, and I could just play this over and over again. So in some ways it was reminded me of some certain comic book stories where you've got a villain who can just control time, or it was just so well done, so yeah, it was can be slightly confusing in parts.
What part? Do you mean the retrospective exposition? Is like the beginning part where he has to tell what has happened?
Yeah, so that can be, if you watch the first time watching the episode, that could be, I'm not saying it degrades or takes away from the episode, but it can be slightly confusing. And then you're wondering, why is he smashing things? And then you realize, oh, he's trying to get the transmitter. And then you're like, well, why doesn't he stop? But the drug has just shattered his mind.
That's
so
right.
You don't know that he's taken,
you don't know that
he's taken. Yeah, so you don't know that until later in the episode. So the nice thing is they tie all these great pieces together, perfectly in the episodes. It's really great, great writing too. There's no, I can't. There's no big, huge. Oh, we'll read the oops in a minute, but I don't think there's any big, flaws in this one. It's just.
I want Wanda Ventam's shirt. I can't believe that she showed up on set with that, and Sylvia was like, "You're wearing that. I'm gonna get you some pants." I want that shirt. That's a good shirt.
And that's the shirt that's in. I was gonna say that's in the poster too. If you look in the background, I think that's the same shirt. So that's
Wanda was very flattered that Sylvia said, I love that. I love that blouse. You're going to wear that blouse. And she talked a bit about it. It was a lovely, the Women of UFO interviews. It was, I believe it was some form of documentary and a series of interviews. It was sent to me by Scuba Pete, and I watched it. It was just delightful. The Women of UFO. I enjoyed it so much.
There's the link, so I just put it in because I have it saved on my show notes. So yep, so check that out. Yeah, and when we do the watch party too, I put those all ton of links to UFO in there. So there's some really great references, and there's there's passionate fan base for UFO. There's the dress. Yeah. Oh wait, should I pause that?
That's the luckiest guy there's the episode.
But I think I don't know why, but I think I have like 10 slides of that one. I don't know what happened.
I love the way that Colonel Lake responds to it. Like I love.
Oh yeah, this is coming up. Yeah, her look.
Well, she's looking at Straker.
What you looking at? What you? She's
but she smiles at him before she walks away.
Straker's looking too.
Yeah, Striker's looking too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta ask. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but if you're wearing something like that, aren't we supposed to look? I always ask my wife,
Yes.
like,
I
Yes,
think
you
you're
are.
supposed to look, but you're not supposed to look.
Yes.
But you're not
What about
supposed
it,
to
ladies?
let anyone catch you catch
No,
you
you're
looking,
supposed to
right?
look. You're supposed to look. Look, if you're going to start parading around in a budgie smuggler, people are going to look. If I'm strutting around in a bikini, I know people are going to look. It's okay. It's okay.
Can I get a sign, like a hall pass from you that says that?
Yes, you
If I
can.
get
look
caught?
anyway.
I will give you one. I will give it to you. No, okay. So now you and I talked way enough. Let's talk to Clobby now, because
Yeah.
Clobby just taught me something that I didn't know, because I didn't get to read from the beautiful book that Michael and Cassandra Beacom sent me. I didn't get a chance to read from it this week, so I did not know about Feely and his ties to the prisoner. And of course, we have the Grand Poobah of all of
Mr.
geekdom
Prisoner
here. And he introduced me to the prisoner. So I have to hear from the boss. Boss, please tell us what you thought of Time Lash and anything else you want to teach us about this marvelous episode.
Well, Feely is credited on some prisoner episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd have to go back and check to make sure which ones. A lot of people who worked on this show, of course, excuse me, have worked on the prisoner, as we've discussed over the. Excuse me. I will admit also that the first time I saw this episode, I was way out confused, and I had to watch it again in terms of what was happening. And you're kind of supposed to be, because it is weird. You know, what's going on? Was this in their minds? How are these things? Not only how are these things happening, how did he get in there? And then, then you got Dr. Jackson using the drug on him, using that machine on him. And we never see anything explained after that about what the machine is. And then this guy comes out of nowhere that wants to kill him, and we start putting these pieces together. It's just so well done. So the way it finally all comes together in the end, you're like, wow, it's relentless. It keeps you guessing. At least I did. And we got me guessing, but what am I? It's just, it is, absolutely not because of Feely necessarily. You're absolutely right to call this the prisoner episode, or the one that is most prisoner-esque for sure, in the best kind of way whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you can see Straker get out there and be the action star in this one.
Yes.
Of course, is so cool, and with of course his gorgeous companion in this one. Hey, the Turing Machine, welcome.
Hey,
good
Turing.
to see you. I just love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
I go with
so
A+.
Yeah, for me, this is going to be this for me is like I just think it's so good. It's A+++, and like I said, I consider this in the top 5 of all UFO episodes. Very cerebral, very engrossing, lots of payoff, tons of payoff, and intriguing, it's just it, and at the same time fun. You don't need comedy. All you need is Colonel Lake giving the coolest look on her face as he's looking at her bosom, and just it has every note that you need. It's the perfect roast beef dinner. You got your peas, you got your carrots, you got your champ, and for people who aren't Irish, that means mashed potatoes with a whole bunch of really delicious stuff in it. You got your beef, you got your gravy, you got everything you need.
Well, another reason why it's the Prisoner episode is if you are a Prisoner fan, it has the also added treat, because there's a lot of episodes we see have difference, take place out on that ITV lot. They do it every now and then. Some episodes have a shot here and there. We're all over that lot in this one, and that's a lot of fun too. You see all kind of stuff that looks, because a lot of stuff was shot out there.
Yeah,
not just the Prisoner, but mainly the Prisoner. But a bunch of other stuff was shot out there too. I mean, the Prisoner was at Port Marion, but they did a lot of other stuff for the Prisoner there as well, and a lot of other shows. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd say let me answer Ezra really quickly. He says, "Did you like the time? Because there's a famous episode of Doctor Who called Time Lash.
Okay,
which of course, obviously, is the most well-known show. You know what? You get in trouble for this one, but being an ugly American, I never got the UK fans memo that you're supposed to hate Time Lash. I actually kind of like it. It's goofy. I'll admit it is a goofy episode, but I like the Colin Baker episode Time Lash. And I'm not just saying it because I'm biased to Paul Darrow, the great Avon himself, being in the episode as a guest star. I like the episode. It's really goofy. It's a guilty pleasure type of an episode, meaning Time Lash for Doctor Who. So yes, Ezra, I really love this Time Lash episode of UFO, but I also like Time Lash from Doctor Who, and I know I'll get made fun of for that. But
not in front of me. Well,
well, Paul Darrow's in it, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know. Paul Darrow he's
Avon lives.
And long live the Legion. Avon lives, long live the Legion.
Now he gives a really cheeky non-Avon performance because he's a little Weasley little bad guy in it, but which was really weird to watch. But that's an actor; they got to act, right?
This is something that you love. This is absolutely something that you love. So
this had some really cool, creepy British stuff in it. I mean, I think some of the stuff with those puppet thingies was definitely like an homage to his own puppets background.
Yeah.
Got a lot of creepy, spooky scenes in this episode, which are brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, just really crazy stuff in it. I mean, just the spooky imagery of things being frozen. How well they did that. I mean, these actors have to be really good. And other than that, the things how none of it made sense to them, like how things wait and all this other stuff. It's really cool.
Yep, really good.
I know
really
Raquel's favorite scene though.
Which
when
one?
Straker throws Paul Foster across the room.
I laugh every time because not only does he throw Paul Foster across the room, but like 10 guys. So it's just like, come on, bring it. You want to replace the boss? You think you're better than Straker? Come at me, bro. Come at me.
So I just posted a link where you could watch this on the Roku channel. And I'm just watching in the background just to see it. I think it's the 1080. I think it's the Blu-ray transfer. It looks like it's in high def. It looks gorgeous.
So
really? I think it's on the Roku channel. Oh my god, it looks so good. Oh,
you know where I watched? You know where I watched it today, and it was a pretty good copy on there too. So you say this is better?
Well, where did you watch it?
You know where?
Oh, you know where? No, this is better. Oh my god, you should see the girls.
Roku, you have to commercials, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, this is Roku. No, this is Roku channel. Yeah, but
shirt.
God, it's sharp. I mean, it looks great. Oh, look at that red dress. My God, sorry. But anyway, yeah.
Sylvia got her money's worth out of that dress. 3 girls wore it.
So did you have something? Didn't you have something? You're doing some.
Let's do the oops. Let's do the oops. Yep.
Oh yeah.
My gloves back on.
Did you give your rating?
Oh, A++++. How do we in the 4.0 scales? Is this a 5, I guess, or? Yeah, this is an AP history. You get extra credit. Your 4.0 turns into 5.0. So
yes.
This is great stuff. Yeah, so watch this up. And the other thing is you can watch these episodes out of order, as much as we love the production order. But you can still, like, if you hear us talking about Time Lash tonight, go watch it. It's not going to ruin the rest of the series for you.
And Mark likes prod, I like prod, and Clubby likes the prod order as well. But I have to tell you folks that I really honestly, I'm one of these people where it matters to me. It mattered to me for The Prisoner. It mattered to me for B5. And it certainly matters for me for UFO. So I am an ITV person, but that's just because
and Trek. Yeah.
That's how I've watched it.
Sure.
Yep.
But some shows it doesn't matter as much. Some shows it does.
It does.
Oh, the other thing is watching, as someone who has a machine shop, watching that circular saw without any safety guards. That's OSHA waiting, OSHA violation waiting to happen. Probably back then they had no safety.
It's so well done with these practical effects, though.
Oh,
hey, gives a whole new meaning to lean machining. Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is too, what I love about UFO is they're always showing the studio, which probably, I don't know if that, it's a movie within a movie because it's in, they're filming a movie in the studio,
right?
So they always show the background. You get a big kick out of seeing that. But yeah, and they incorporate that beautifully into the show because they're on a movie studio. There's the little racing cars. There's a hovercraft. Like, give me that hovercraft. Yeah. And Straker, I have to say, Ed Bishop's in great shape. I mean, he's running around. I think it looks like it's him doing some of these stunts. I mean,
Oh, it was
he's
him
in good
doing some of
shape.
these stunts.
Yeah, and he looks like he's in great shape, and
Yep.
he's
Marvelous.
able to. Yeah. So yeah, and that scene where the car that's what was confusing when the car is spinning around with the dead guy. Like, wait a minute, he's alive in this episode. What's going on? So okay, well, let's get to the oops. So in the scene in Shadow Control at the start of the episode, Straker has just released the alien's localized hold on time. So he runs outside. It should be night, just as it was before he and Lake arrived at the studio, yet it is still broad daylight. Oh. Yeah, I guess that's an oops. The motionless stool that Straker hits with the piece of wood actually wobbles a bit. On the end titles,
Give me a break. It did not.
Well, I'm gonna watch it in HD and see. On the end titles, actor Ron Pember is miscredited as Ron Bember, and actor Jean Walden is miscredited as Jean Valden, while John Leon is credited as studio guard instead of shadow guard. Well, that always happens. The credits always get messed up. But like the way they did the chair standing up, that was fantastic. I have to say.
So good, hey.
So I don't know if what the trick was in the nail in the wood. Maybe they had just the tip in there. Maybe they had a wire going through the middle of the nail. But yeah, that was just so well.
Practical effects, gorgeous.
Yeah, great practical effects. Yep. So let me get to the guest cast here. Patrick Allen Turner is one of British cinema's top voiceover artists and is probably best known for a long-running series of commercials. From his debut in Dial M for Murder, I'll just skim to see if there's anything we recognize him
Hold
from.
on for 1 second. Yeah, Chris. I don't mind the oops, but the thing is that oops sort of annoy me because I think that there are times to be critical about things like when there are continuity errors and when the editor is obviously screwed up. But in the case of the chair or the stool, I mean, I don't think so. Like Clobby was saying earlier, like when you watch this episode, you're blown away that all of this was done practically. There are no computers used here. So all of these beautiful actors and actresses standing at complete attention, completely still, and all of these things suspended in time. I think they did such a great job. So to say that the chair moves slightly, I mean, who put that oops forward? That person needs shin kicks.
You realize that's in the sacred text, Raquel, so
I know, but
don't
still
cross it out.
Fun
I
is
know. I
fine.
hear
Shin
you
kicks.
saying, yeah.
Shin kicks.
Yeah,
Shin
it's all in
kicks,
good fun until someone loses an eye.
That's right.
Oh, by the way, and while Mark continues that, if anyone wants to put up, flag us somehow. If you want to put up any review, your rating of this episode.
I love the way that Clobby jumped in there like he's my ride or die. Can you all tell why he's my ride or die? Clobby will always be my ride or die, folks.
Oh,
I love him.
you rock.
So here we go. So Patrick Allen Turner, who's the big bad, he was in over 40 feature
these
films.
Stupid go-karts. I love them.
I love the carts. Yep.
Yeah.
Night of the Big Heat, 67. When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, 69.
Oh, I saw that in the theater.
Puppet on a Chain, 71. Oh, no, this is an all-time classic movie. The Wild Geese, 1978. If you haven't watched The Wild Geese,
hell yeah.
Great great British film. You could only get that in Britain
Roger
for
Moore?
a while. That's Roger Moore. That's a lot of huge stars in that.
Robert Taylor.
David Niven isn't, I believe. My memory is failing, but yeah, it's Bruce Wayne's butler, Alfred.
Alfred, wow, is he really?
No, Michael Caine. Yep.
Oh, that Alfred.
That Alfred.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Yep.
I love you, Chris.
The Sea Wolves, 1980. Who Dares Win, 82. Bull to Beijing. Let's see, what else was he in that anyone would recognize? He also appeared in episodes of The Avengers, Out of This World, The Saint, The Baron, Man in a Suitcase, The Champions, The Protectors, and Bergerac.
A lot of cool shows.
Ron Pember, the casting agent. That was the guy looking at the dress, I think. Yeah. Or, well, something else.
He wasn't looking at the dress. He was looking at her chesticles, and they were on display. Chesticles, full chesticles.
He would never do that.
I would never do that. Ever.
He would never, ever do that.
I wouldn't do such a thing.
Yeah, he was in The Land of Time Forgot, 1975, Aces High, Murder by Decree, and Ordeal by Innocence.
This gave me the willies right here by those things, by the way.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
very
yeah.
creepy scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was also in The Saint, The Avengers, Department S, The Protectors, The Sweeney, Minder, and The Professionals.
Wow.
John Josh Leon, he was in ESP, makes his second yearful appearance as a shadow guard. Let's see, he was also in episodes of anything we would know here: The Sweeney, Man About the House, and George and Mildred. I guess British TV shows. Legendary stuntman Bob Simmons appears as a shadow operative during the fight sequence in Shadow Control and doubles for Patrick Allen throughout the episode. That's Turner, the bad guy. Probably best known as Sean Connery, stunt double in the 60s James Bond's film. Simmons also acted as stunt coordinator in the majority of the Bond movies through A View to the Kill 1985, which was Roger Moore's last Bond film. He died in 1988, age 55. And major equipment, we've got some shadow cars, a shadow Jeep, and studio buggies, studio hovercraft. And back in the 60s, hovercraft in the 70s, that was a huge deal of hovercraft and UFOs.
Yeah,
And
but
this
that's
first
awesome.
aired.
The thing I don't like though, Mark, is that they don't say anything about Molly. And I'd like to know what the acronym for Molly is.
Yeah, they don't in this. Yeah. So
and if you check the equipment roster, in
they don't mention Molly.
in the chapter dedicated to it, I didn't see it there.
Well, that's I'll have to maybe check the interwebs, but yeah, we're missing that. Yep. So this first was transmitted in the UK, 8 p.m. Wednesday, February 17th, 1971, and I was 3 years old.
Wow.
And sadly, we've only got a few episodes left.
I'm so sad.
We've got Mime, but we could start over again. But we got Mime. How many? Mindbender.
One more.
And The Long Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
2 more.
Long Sleep.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Well, you know what? You can do what I do, folks. You could just keep rewatching it over and over again. I can tell you right now, it never gets old. It has the same intellectual and emotional resilience as TOS. It's glorious. It's glorious.
Oh, you know, I just found in the book in the sacred text.
What?
There's deleted scenes in the because I haven't finished the whole book, so they've got deleted scenes. I haven't finished
my book yet either.
They've got deleted scenes with the script from the scenes that were deleted in this. I wonder if.
Oh, I need to look at that.
I'm just trying to see if there was one from this episode. Let's see, Sub Smash. Oh, the last one that had deleted scene was The Sound of Silence, Man Who Came Back, Cat with 10 Lives. I'm assuming it's in order, but I was trying to see if there was a deleted scene from the episode tonight, but it doesn't look like it.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, this book has got a wealth of knowledge, although we don't know enough about Molly there, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know what the acronym stands for. You know, like what could it possibly be? I mean, you know what I mean? Like I'm communications and technology. You're an engineer. What are you thinking for the acronym? I'm thinking mobile. And then what's the O?
I'm gonna go get some meds. You guys handle any ratings and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the back of the book talks a lot about, of course, the sets and props and models that went on to different show, and some of the Blake 7, a lot of Blake 7 too. Yep. Yeah, so a lot of stuff gets reused. So the back of the book does talk about, and I guess you read that about the props and models. So there's a lot of great stuff in here, but
I love that
promotional stuff. I'm trying to see if we catch anything about Molly there, but yeah, it's
what are you thinking it is? Book. Okay,
I think it either could be like a joke for like one of Straker's girlfriends, or it's got to be an acronym, like a law weapon, light anti-tank weapons, a law rocket, just.
Well, okay, well, M has to be mobile, but what would O be?
I don't know. I just not sure how that
obliterating.
That yeah.
Mobile obliterating.
Yeah, there's in Turing, and there was I thought they were talking about another drug that Straker was going to take. I know it's not. It's the rocket launcher.
No,
but I'll try to see if I can find anything in the production guide, online. That I had also posted the links for UFO. Let's see, what's it called? Nope, where is it? Hiding here.
Did you notice how much weight Hendo's lost in this episode?
Yeah, he did look like he did. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, like his neck, like especially his neck, you can just see, and you're so happy for him, He looks so much better, and I'm just so happy that he was able to get rid of all of that weight. So I think, folks, we only have one review, and it's Turing, and I think that's it. So I think I'll just wait for Clobby, and Clobby can read Turing Machine's comment. I think his comment's really cool, and I'm so happy that he had a good time watching this, and I like what he said. So we'll get that up on the marquee in a minute. Yeah.
There's 6 matches of Molly and UFO.
Yeah, right?
Lines of communications, connoisseurs, catalyst. Let's see. I'm trying to see if these are script. No, script, time lash. The only time it appears in the script is time lash, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, they actually do have the whole script. Oh, wow, they have the whole script. You can
search the script.
Yeah, so let's see if here's the script here. Let's see. God, these sites are so great. These fan-made sites.
Offensive, mobile offensive. Yeah, could not be reached for the comment.
Our last chance. He just says Molly. Our last chance is the first.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what it is, but that's just because I'm a UFO weirdo. Like, I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would become so hardcore UFO but I love it. I just love it so much.
Yep. So it's I don't see anything. Maybe some of the chat can.
Well, it could not be reached for further comment is throwing out some good ideas.
Ideas, yeah. But if someone finds,
well, someone will figure it out.
Someone will figure it out. Yeah.
Somebody will figure it out. Boss
man, some UFO fan must know it.
Yeah, you would hope so, right? Bossman, only Turing Machine would like to comment on his impressions.
You could have done that one.
Would you like me to throw it up, boss?
I got it right here. The concept and execution feels modern. I liked it.
Great.
Well, excellent.
That makes me feel so good, and I'm so happy that you had a good time and that you enjoyed it.
Yes. Yep. Oh, there's nothing. I don't care what the fandom is, where there isn't whatever the fandom happens to be. There's a super fan or 2 or a billion of them that have an answer for you. Sometimes they're opinions, but sometimes they're actual answers.
Yep.
Answers as well. So they're out there.
Yep.
That guy, if you will, that is out there.
Yeah, so, but you attract those people. That's why I love podcasting with you, and I love riding second chair, and all the things you do is you really attract that super knowledgeable crowd. A lot of these folks have become our friends, and it's really nice to stand in a room full of experts, and it's just so enjoyable. It's a marvelous conversation.
I will dedicate it to finding myself that super UFO fan that can answer this one for us. And I know I can find it.
Yeah.
I'll check with my friend Tex. He'll probably know somebody.
Oh, so, Tex. I can't wait to meet Tex.
We could also ask the Fanderson Twitter page or website too. Yeah. They might have. I
know it's a dumb question, you guys, but it's just something that I want to know.
No, it's not a dumb. Definitely not a dumb question.
It's just, this is such a cerebral show with so many fine points and such tremendous continuity and ingenuity and creativity. It's not like them, and I know that there was so much more to come, and it got cut short. And then we wound up with the space fantasy horror, Space 1999. And then we wound up with a Space 1999 Maya, and and so we didn't really get everything that we wanted to get out of this, right? I wish that at least we had at least 79. Even 79 would be okay with me. But I mean, sad. Not enough episodes.
What we can get, yeah. And you never get to see the demise of Paul Foster, I think, right? Or we got 2 more episodes to go, so we'll see.
Okay, bye. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's so not nice.
The only other oops I thought of maybe in this episode was that the premise was that you can't move anything that was already moving. So, for example, the chair was being thrown, so that couldn't move. And then when the headquarters, they can only Straker says, "Oh, I can pick this up. This isn't frozen." So it's only things that are frozen. But then in one part of the episode, the bad guy, is it Alan? He moves a person to move a lever. I'm like, wait, shouldn't he not be able to move that? It's very nitpicky, but turn on the
That's
smoke
okay.
machine.
You're allowed to be nitpicky, engineer.
Yeah, so I thought he shouldn't have been able to move that person because I was thinking that person, everyone is moving at that time, so he should have been locked into place. But that's just me. I thought very minor, but I thought
that is a very good point. That is a very good point.
Shouldn't be able to move him. Yep. But kudos to those actors that were,
like
frozen
it's
like
unbelievable. Like Clobby
They're
said
good.
earlier, like there's so much talent there. Like I don't even know how they could handle that. Crazy.
Yeah, no, they're definitely they're stuck but some shows you can see where they're actually moving, moving around, and you kind of see them wobbling a little bit, and it's got to be tough. And I wonder a couple times if they took stills and then just cut them over and over again. Not sure, but maybe a couple of scenes they did. But it's
I don't
very
know,
well
you
found
giant geek, but I know who I'd ask. This giant geek I know named Clobby, or this other giant geek I know named Mark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you guys know all the deets. You have all the deets.
Yep.
I'm getting this ready now, folks. We're getting our keep going. We're getting our review ready. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to be shifting to early voyages?
Yes.
Okay, well, before we do that, if you need some time killer, I have some time killer.
I'm just, go ahead.
Okay, Bus, let me take over for 3 wags of a puppy's tail.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Sean Carter from Mars, the coolest guy ever, the sweetest human being. He sent me something, and I'm totally blown away by it. So just give me a second here, because I just want to load it up. I just want to show you all this beautiful gift that he sent me, and I don't even know how to thank him, because this must have been atrociously expensive. And I would love it if you could please follow him on YouTube. It's the Sci-Fi Model Guy, but it's actually our very own Sean Carter. So Sean Carter from Mars. He made this for me and sent it to Canada.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the NX-01, everyone. And he asked me which one I wanted. And this is definitely the one I want, because I don't think that I will ever have another opportunity to have somebody to make
That's
something
amazing
for me to this level for Enterprise. There's not a lot of Enterprise out there. Enterprise didn't get its fair share.
No.
It didn't get its fair shake. So, and here's another one.
Wow.
Lit up beautiful. Yep.
Yeah.
And look, you can see Porthos in there too.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, you can even see his cheese. And I sent Mark a couple of videos. Mark, would you be able to use them?
Sure, yep. Let me
amazing
dig
stuff.
those up. Yep.
You rock, buddy.
It's incredible. Like, this is going to be in my front room, in my living room, like where it's not really my living room. In the United States, that means a different thing, but it's going to be in my front room, like my parlor.
Touring Machine says that. I wish we could fast forward to reviewing Enterprise. I feel you, buddy, because I love Enterprise. I'm looking forward to it, man. In fact, not so much so. Back in like February, I watched them all again I've been to that show so many times. It's going to be a sheer delight to be up there in spite of all the ridicule we'll get.
Yeah, the longer you have to wait, isn't it that much better? Having to wait and wait the anticipation, kind of like the ketchup coming out of the bottle.
Which is why I've already become No.
Sean Carter, this had to have been insanely expensive. I mean, not only did you do
it's the labor, it's the labor.
Model, and then the lighting kit, but you guys have no idea what he went through to like suspend the Enterprise in this massive box
Incredible
with all
stuff.
of these inflated bags and the little packing peanuts. And if any of you have ever sent anything to Canada, you know that it is atrociously expensive. So this was from front to back one of the most thoughtful things anybody has ever done for
Thanks,
me.
Sean.
I don't know why
Unreal,
Sean did this, but I am going to cherish this beautiful Enterprise, this beautiful NX-01, and our friendship for many years to come. So if we could get
Yeah, let me play.
Sean's
Yep.
URL in the chat. Please follow the sci-fi
Yes.
model guy. Sean is a salt of the earth person. He's very talented, very kind, and anyway, we just love him around here. Thank you so much, Sean Carter from Mars.
Thank you so much, Sean. And
Zachariah.
that's something we've always known. Hey, Zachariah. Yes, Zachariah's been here a while, I believe. Eric K informs us that Mark likes Neelix and Kes confirmed. Oh, wait. I mean, look, let's just face it. He does indeed.
Draw that man in a chicken suit.
It's the Chicken Man!
Much, Eric.
So funny.
Yep. So I do have the clip ready if you want me to play it.
Oh,
Or...
I sent you two.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, one. Yeah, the clips. Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
so
we
the
got
one
some
with
clips?
the packing peanuts first, please.
Oh, packing peanuts first. Yep.
Thanks again,
We can
Eric.
do that.
Appreciate
Yep.
that, buddy.
And were they
Oh, we got
vertical or
packing.
were they vertical videos?
Actually, I don't remember because I just
They
sent
came
two of the
across as
shortest
vertical.
ones because I just didn't stop
No,
taking
that's
video
okay.
because I was being obnoxious and excited. And also, can I just say what a wonderful friend you are for me? Thank you. Thank you for doing this for me.
Oh, no problem. This is the easy part. Sean had to spend hours and hours putting these models
Hey,
together.
Shooter's
and
here.
packing them.
Amazing.
Shooter's here. Hey, Shooter.
Here we go. So let's share the screen. Oh, let's share the audio, I guess, too. It's okay to share the
You're
audio.
going to need
right?
the audio.
Mute the audio or
No, have it on. Have it on.
have it on. Yeah. You had a message. Yeah. So I'll put yep. So here. So I don't know if this has let's play this one.
Okay. Slight shift in plans. My plan of attack is now to gently unbury it. There's no way that I could turn it on its side and let it dump out. That would not be smart. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you don't want to drop it off the planet, right? So
No.
Yeah. That's been so...
Bastard machine, Spock. You can't argue with a machine.
First officer's log 2023.824. It is out of the box. I got it out of the box. She's not hurt. She looks beautiful. I need to dust her off and get her plugged in. That's my bird, sorry.
Amazing. Yep. Why don't we play that again? Why not?
We indeed, Captain. Coochie woochie coochie coo, Captain.
First officer's log 2023.824. It is out of the box. I got it out of the box. She's not hurt. She looks beautiful. I need to dust her off and get her plugged in. Wasn't my bird, sorry.
Very nice. Very nice. Yep. Yep. Oh, just play it over and over. That's awesome. Yep. So
So if you
that's Sean.
don't
That's
know
nice.
the sci-fi model guy, you can find the sci-fi model guy on YouTube. Please follow him. He's a sweetheart of a man, good friend. My whole family follows him. And yeah, I will treasure this always. And my favorite reaction was my husband's when we plugged in, and he's like, "Cool." He liked the lighting
Cool,
kit
right?
so much. He was like, "Cool." That's good. It's good.
We know that ship had been on a long road, getting
Yeah.
from Sean to you.
It was, yeah.
It was a long road. Sorry.
And here, while we're showing ships, and everyone, make sure I'll put the link in again for Sean. Make sure you follow him and watch his cool videos, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
learning some stuff, modeling stuff, and you always learn something new. And the lighting effect too, that's makes that above and beyond beautiful. So check that out. And this is, I was showing this on Clobbering Time's show last night, but we'll show this for just a couple minutes here. But this is another maybe not as good looking as Sean's ship, but this is Star Trek Mini Trek MOCs. So it's custom models for Lego bricks featuring 75 iconic vessels from across the Star Trek universe. So you can purchase the plans to build all these cool little ships. You can get them in bundles, and then you go to Bricklink. If you're a Lego person, you know what that is, and it's basically a site where you can order all the bricks that you want to complete a project. Or if, for example, if you're missing a brick, then you can buy those bricks, or just buy them and make custom stuff. So you can see the classic Enterprise there. Oh, Angry Boy's asking for the mashup with the Beach Boys. I'll have to try to which one was it? When did I do a mashup with the Beach Boys? Was that
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember now. But I will look. I will look. Yep. I have a bunch of mashups. Yep. But here's so you can buy bundles. Of course, they've got the the first ship to go to light speed, and so it's small scale models. And we got some. We'll skip by that. But here's the classic classic Trek there. So I'm loving these. These are really cool. They even got a Borg cube and the YouTube video, and the Borg cube actually.
They got a place where the Enterprise D flies inside of it. Flies inside of it.
Not on this one. Yeah. I guess it's, but it's allegedly to scale. Yeah. But this looks really fun, and I'll put the website in the link in a second. But yeah, look at the space station there. Yep. So really cool stuff. And again, you buy these, you're buying just the plans. So for example, you could shop, so you could get for example, let's see, I think they have here, where was the Enterprise or original films you could buy, or the Enterprise Legacy here, which is really cool. So you get you get the plans for all these. So you save money if you buy all the plans, and they have the NX-01 in here. If I zoom in, where's the NX-01 hiding? Oh, if I click on it, maybe. But yeah, no. Here's the NX-1. If I zoom in, there you go. So not as cool as Sean's, but there you go. So it's a lot of fun. And then you get all these, and then they give you the parts list, so you can order them online, and then you get PNGs and PDFs, so you can make your own stickers for these, which actually adds a really nice touch to them. So, and you can buy all the bundles, 72 models for, I guess, I'm not sure how much that is, but if you wanted everything, but I do like that extra touch of getting the stickers and things, so that you can have the names. So that's how cool. Look, you print that sticker and put that on the Lego, and then you've got your placard there. So if everyone remembers the Micro Machines years ago, this is kind of reminding me of Micro Machines. So here, here's the Excelsior, and yeah, nice, or an Enterprise B, I guess. Nice job with that. So a lot of fun there with that. So I thought it'd be fun to show everyone this website. So pretty cool, and it's not that expensive too. So for some of these things, so thought it was pretty nice. And then let's just show the Borg cube, and then we'll fly on out of here. But where's the? Oh, this is every model. Let's see. Where's the cube? I wanted to show the cube because I did. Well, if I go home, let's see the Borg cube.
Don't forget, we also have to do the comic segment. We're not flying out of here, Mark.
I know, but this is so cool. Here we go. Here's the Borg cube.
I love the Borg cube.
And it actually works. It actually it has a little part that the smaller ship pops out.
The sphere.
The sphere. Yep.
Sphere.
Eject sphere. Yep. So that's very cool. Yep. So everyone check that out. Yep. Let me put the link in here.
Well, Sean loves this.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Yep. And what about the USS Enterprise, notably A, B, C, D, F, or G? Yep, you can get that too. Yep. So I thought everyone would enjoy seeing that. Yep.
Indeed. So, who's ready for a comic book review?
I am.
Let's review a comic book, folks. Is everyone up to speed?
Oh, yes. This is a good one.
Margot?
This has
Yep,
been.
I've
This
read
is
it. Yep.
a very, very good episode. This is a very good issue. Very good.
All right.
Good story. Oh, and it has a foldy outie.
Oh, I
It has
don't have
what?
the digital.
Yeah, I got a foldy outie, and I didn't know how to handle it because I was like, oh, I can't touch that.
Can't touch it. Can't touch this.
Can't touch this. When you were going to say that?
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, cue the song.
All right. Whoop. Where are you? Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, folks. So, who is ready to review a Star Trek comic? You all are.
Me.
All right. So, tonight, of course, thanks to the great, wonderful chief engineer. I mean, well, he's great too. He's wonderful too. But I mean, first officer, because I can't speak anymore, apparently. We have this wonderful intro outro for our, if I could find it. It's right in front of me, and I can't. I'll get it.
I always have
there we go.
I can never find it. Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah, I'm looking right. There we go. All right, folks. So it's time for our Star Trek comic review segment. Here we go.
Warp drive, Mr. Scott. Ahead warp 1, Mr. Sulu. Accelerating to warp 1, sir.
Yeah, here we go, folks. Our comic this evening is where are you?
Very excited.
Star Trek Early Voyages number 7. This is, of course, from 1997, August of. Which means a couple of months earlier than that, of course. Wow. So yeah, it's dated this month. Of course, it's a couple of months earlier than that, but hey, that's cool. For those who don't know, and I've talked a lot about the history of Star Trek comics, and we'll be doing so again more in the future. Star Trek has been around a long time, even in comic books, almost as long as it's been around. And it started out with Gold Key Comics in the late 1960s. It was big in the UK over there for various distributors over there. Marvel Comics eventually picked it up when the motion picture came out. Then it went to DC for a good while, long time. Had a couple of different runs over there, and eventually even the Next Generation got a title. Malibu and got part of a joint operation with Marvel and did Deep Space Nine and even Voyager for a time. So the license split up a little bit. And then around 1997, Marvel made a deal called Marvel Paramount Comics, in which they would do many Star Trek series, and some good ones. And the best, in my opinion, was this one right here, Star Trek Early Voyages. Of course, it is dealing with the adventures of Captain Pike and the crew, many years, of course, right after the Cage, and many years, of course, before the crew of Where No Man Has Gone Before would take over. So here we have it. Number 7, Early Voyages, Pike and Kaj, Mortal Enemies. All right. Featuring a new guide to the Star Trek universe. After the ads, of course. Hot Wheels ads. Yay.
How come you don't have it, hey? Oh, there it is.
What?
Go down a little bit more.
Y'all have it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's the pullout.
Right. This is the pullout thingy that just kind of info about what's going on. Space, the Final Frontier, before James T. Kirk, before Jean-Luc Picard. That was Christopher Pike. These were the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, the real ones, and to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. And of course, you have a little write-up.
Is that like a special thing? A couple pages you can pull out of the comic? Like
yeah, it's a fold over, so it unfolds to 3. But
ooh, nice.
Something that really shocked me here, you guys, is the info. Do you remember how Clobby and I were, and I think you mentioned something about it too, Mark, about how we only had one panel where they were explaining what everyone's position was.
Right.
And what I found really interesting is this is sort of like Gene Roddenberry's Revenge. Did you see Sita Mohandas? She is obviously from India, or she is of Indian descent. And it says that she's next in line after number 1. So this is Gene Roddenberry's Revenge, isn't it? It's cool to find out more about them, and now with some repetition and with this pullout, it's starting to register more with me now. I'm starting to remember a little bit more about each of these characters now, because we just had that one panel that time, and wow, I didn't retain any of that. Did you guys? I know I didn't.
Some of it, but not about that particular point. No, they've done it. This is the kind of thing they always thought. This is back when when editors actually valued their job, because they actually needed their jobs, and cared about their readership for the most part. I mean, they had a lot of jerks, of course, even back then, but for the most part, they were trying to be thorough in their job, and they thought, this is a relatively new book. This is not the original cast of the show, that people know so well. Let's give them some background on these characters. And what these 2 pages here do is again do just that, some background stuff on, or at least some explanations of the characters and some of what's been going on in the previous issues, which they've done before. So the issue is called The Flat Gold Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just want to ask. Sorry, is there another page that we're not seeing? If this is a 3-page pullout, or in this little insert?
It goes Star Trek Early Voyages, then previously on Early Voyages, then The Flat Gold Forever. So that's the way that.
So that's that splash page.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right.
And I just want to point out before we move on here, because I was a little bit blown away by this, because I didn't recall this, but I guess that the Maasai guy, Grace, he was with Captain April. I didn't realize that. Now I knew Colt was, right, because Colt caused a big stink by coming over. and everyone's saying, what's she trying to do or whatever. But I did not know that Moves with Burning Grace, the chief engineer, I did not know that he was also from Captain April. So this really shows the strengthening tie between Pike and April. Pike and April are very close. When they described why these changes happened, it was because Pike really trusted these people because of how they were and how they worked for April. So I really liked this extra information. And as a reader, I enjoyed it because it's hard to get to know a new cast of characters. And so I thought this was a stroke of genius. It was most enjoyable. And yeah, it's just cool. Anyway, let's do this.
All right, Linrod. Hey there. Good to see you,
Linrod.
Let's see here. Okay, so again, it's got a nice recap of things that have been going on so far, folks. The Flat Gold Forever, written by, and by the way, this is something I'm always going to be a stickler about, credits to comic books. It's a thing with me. So, written by Ian Eddington and Dan Abnett. They wrote it together. They've been a writing team for many years over the course of comics in the 90s and 2000s.
This was very well written. This issue, boss. This episode, I found it was very well written. I really enjoyed it. Great writing.
Indeed. Thank you. I did my best on both of them. Patrick Zerser again returns on the pencils. Does an outstanding job. Greg Adams, who the regular inker, Marie Javins, regular colorist, Shanice Chang, regular letterer, Bobby Chase, the regular editor, and Bob Harris, the regular editor-in-chief. So nice. He was EIC back then. I'm not calling him shooter-esque or anything. So again, one of the things that impresses me about this is issue number 7, and the entire creative team doing the chores are consistent. They're the same as that have been there since issue number 1. Over the course of 7 issues at this point in comics history was, it happened, but it was still fairly. I don't want to say uncommon, but anyway, and the Enterprise has a shuttle, the Icarus. That's interesting. Hey, Clark, come look at this. So the Enterprise is crashing onto a planet, and
I have to be so careful changing this page because of the fold over.
Oh, okay. Oops. You can just look at it on the screen, if you want, but yes. What a blasphemy. What is it? A star? A shooting star? Meteor? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a meteor. No, it's a ship. Anyway, so we don't know where we are yet, folks. Aboard the Harvester rig Rostock on the agrarian planet Prairie. Now we do. There you go. We see a bunch of humans, obviously, working on this thing, and led by a lovely lady. Looks like to me.
She's beautiful.
I'm liking her. They notice that the Icarus goes down in flames and realize, what they're mining, the scramble the skimmers, fire control. That ship could blow everything up, including them,
and ruin all the crops.
Yeah, not.
They're at the stage of the harvest where, it would decimate the crops as well if the fire spread.
Indeed, and yet the young lady heroically goes out to find an injured Captain Pike.
Yeah, it's very obvious from the outset that Claire has a different set of rules than these people. You know from the beginning. Of the story that Claire has definitely has different ethics. It sort of seems like these guys are just all together on Prairie, and you can tell that they're all working out there and they just want to get their job done and do their thing. And Claire seems to follow a completely different code. She's very, very much like anyway, she's you can instantly see that she's a very cool chick, and that she's a hero in her own right. This is the kind of lady where if you had a heart attack on the side of the road and everyone kept on driving by, Claire is the person who would get out of her car and perform CPR. She would be the one to call the ambulance for you. That's the kind of person Claire is. But the guys who work with her, Not so much.
But you find out why later too, right? So.
That's right. You find it why, yeah.
Your skimmer isn't fitted with water tanks. What are you doing? There may be somebody alive out there, somebody about to fry. So she goes out there, and of course, sure enough, it is our buddy Captain Pike, and all he needs to feel better is some M&Ms. No, Oreo, but they're done there, so she brought some Oreos. And we cut to.
Oh, so good.
We've got a Klingon D7 cruiser, Klingon attack cruiser Varchas. What do you mean you've lost him? Sorry, I couldn't help it. That guy sounds like he would sound like that. I don't know why.
Keep going, Clubby. I love it.
It's like the animated series. He would sound like that. I don't know. Well, Kerr, I told you to start that Starfleet. I told you to clip that Starfleet vermin's wings so he could be tractored in a slow and lasting death. And no trace. Sorry, tractored. Yeah, tractored. Okay. And now you say you've lost him, Commander Koch. Aye. Are you fond of humans, Kerr? Is that it? Why you show them messy and deny me my blood debt? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding, everybody. I love that they're beating the Klingons. I really do love that their original series, Klingons. I think it's great. With respect, Commander, Kerr followed orders, but Kolge gave him the wrong coordinates. Vrika, what are you saying, you little lying bitch? You say, now he wants M&Ms. They're the mini ones, the mini M&Ms.
Oh, the minis go too fast when you eat them, too. That's a problem.
Mini M&Ms are not good for a true Klingon. No wonder we lost all of our lumps and ridges and things.
And they want you to cut that comic book up and use that as a game. No, don't do that.
Yeah. What?
Don't do that, Raquel. I just, just
oh
in case you
my
were
gosh,
thinking
I didn't
about
even
it.
notice this ad. This
Yeah,
person
see? That's the game.
Look, cut right here.
Put on the agony booth on high.
So did you cut? You're saying you didn't cut yours?
Geez, no, I barely touch mine.
Don't even look at it.
Don't avert your dirty eyes.
There's some clever stuff going on here because she is simply confirming what I have suspected for a long while now, Kolge. You are clumsy. You're clumsy. You are a clumsy, incompetent excuse for a bridge officer, and you don't have lumps either. I hate Klingons without lumps like us. In the name of Kahless, Commander, no. Commander, for your sake, Kerr, this had better be good news. And so I placed the plasma trail, blah, blah, blah. He tells him how he found out where Pike landed. And I like this chick. She says, you know me, you owe me now, Kerr. Remember that? Oh, yeah. Somebody's devious. I love her. Yeah. Ship's log. Stardate. I can't do it because it's a woman. I'm sorry. I'll just do it normal too. Unless you want to do it, you can do it right now if you want.
Ship's log. Stardate 259.9. First officer recording. The Enterprise has spent a week at Deep Space Station K-12 to conduct overhaul and repair after the recent mauling we took at Darien 224. The captain has been unexpectedly recalled to Earth on urgent family business, and I have been left to supervise the upgrades.
Number 1, of course, like comics often did back then, this is issues 5 and 6. Bobby. That's the editor. So,
yep.
Number 1, I haven't. I would say he was sort of like Eric's to me or something.
Yeah, he does. He reminds me of the same. Sort of. Bossman, I have to rudely interrupt you because somebody has joined us. Everyone, please welcome Comics Explained to the chat.
Hey
welcome,
there,
Comics.
Comics Explained. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
I beg your pardon, Bossman. Please continue.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I have an incoming message. I have an incoming message from Admiral Mahane at Starfleet Command. I'm trying to remember how Eric's. Eric's called like this. Never mind. On screen at once, Mr. Nanu. I'll have to, Mr. Nanu is not from his species, though. But he did, yes, he did talk like this, Mr. Eric. Anyway, something like that. Good day, Admiral. Is this an Andorian Admiral? Oh, that's cool. I think. Yes. Weird, but we can't see his
You can't fully see it, but
is
you
a
know
10i,
it.
but yeah. Good. Captain Pike is already en route to Earth. I hope there's been no deterioration in his father's condition. What are you talking about, Lieutenant Commander? You said word earlier that the captain's father was seriously ill. I sent no such message. In fact, I talked to Josh Pike just an hour ago, and he was the picture of health.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably made up that name for him, but they're allowed. Why not? It's not like there's any lore on it, right?
No, I don't think there is. No.
He's trouble. Let's see. He's trouble. He's Starfleet. Just kind of people we all came from. We all came here to get away from. Oh, come on, Luther. He's just one man who was delirious. Clark murmuring about Klingons and blood debts, and that shuttle didn't crash without help. You reckon we gave him up to the Klingons would leave us alone? God, Cabot. How can you walk upright without a spine? I love her.
The art is beautiful in this too. Zurcher, just such a great.
No, he's amazing, man.
And I love the panel layout there and how it flows. And then
why can't we have 50 issues like this?
Yeah,
I wish
she's
they would have gone on forever.
I fully appreciate their anxieties, ma'am. They're completely justified. Anyway, I'm Captain Christopher Pike, and I am trouble. I don't sit around and wearing prissy little bibs and cooking in my ridiculously oversized quarters and singing and covering up my balls around women who tickle around all the time, like some other punk in another dimension I could name. Sorry. So if you could give me access to your comm unit, I could contact Starfleet and leave you in peace. Again, I love Pike. Pike is he just walks in there and he doesn't take offense. He's as cool as a cucumber. He knows these guys are right, even though they're a bunch of not his kind of guys, because they're not Starfleet people. They're humans that decided to go out and be farmers. By the way, which is fine.
They're basically the Amish in space.
In a sense, maybe.
Right? Yeah.
Well, later we sort of learn, like, especially by their appearances, and you can tell by the way that it's written and then also the way that it's illustrated, that this sort of might be something more akin to what happens in Alberta and Texas. These sort of feel like these kind of guys who work on the oil rig. These guys are really great with the machinery. They know how to get to the planet, and this planet Prairie is obviously a vital grain store for everyone in the United Federation of Planets. And so you get this distinct impression that that's why they don't want to help. They sort of want to mind their own business. They want to get in. They want to get the job done. They want to get the grain produced. And that's why they get pretty upset in the beginning that, number one, that the grain is going to burn. And then obviously the fact that, they said, somebody's going to be coming after this guy. And are we going to wind up being the one who has to deal with whomever was, giving chase to him? That shuttle didn't crash by itself, right? So it is, to me, it doesn't remind me of farmers, and I'm from Alberta, where it's ranch country, right? We're the Texas of the North. I got the distinct impression that these guys are a little harder than your regular farmer. These guys remind me of oil rig guys, which is really cool because that's the new currency. Food. Humans have solved the energy crisis. Humans have solved the energy needs of the galaxy, but there's one energy need we haven't solved quite yet, and that is sustenance. And so I see them as like these oil rig guys, and I think the writing here is very clever. I like it. I like it a lot.
It is very clever. Again, it's great to see. By the way, Comments Explained. I didn't mean to breeze past it. But you have a great channel. So anyone, if you haven't seen Comments Explained's channel, it's really amazing if you're comics geeks like we all are here. So, again, and Ian Eddington and Dan Abnett, these guys were very good, were and still are very good writers. And you can tell they're they know how to write Star Trek.
Yeah.
And you can see that this was written pure out of love, the characterizations and everything. So I've always liked their work. And so, and I love her, man. And, like I said, why couldn't we have 50 issues of this instead of 15?
Yep.
Even though this is the same artist the entire run, but still.
Yep.
But right here, man, I tell you what, our communists don't have that kind of range. We avoid that kind of high-tech stuff, and we don't pull into silo towns to dump them. Basically, they're telling them they're simple people, like you say. And this kid says I want you to tear this comic up and cut out this Hershey thing if it's only Raquel's
Shin
issue.
kicks.
Cookie Monster got into that, I guess.
The
Yeah.
Cookie Monster got into this one. See the old ads. This is the late '90s.
I love
They're
them.
okay, but the ads from the Bronze Age and the 60s, 70s, 80s, especially 70s, are better.
But it brings you back into remembering when you read these the first time when they came out.
Yeah, oh,
You're
yeah,
like, I remember that ad now. That's
right.
The great nostalgia factor. Just
that's why. Well, that's why I like when we do this. I like to see the ads. So
Yeah,
some of
like
the scans
the
are
ads,
from
too.
trades or omnibuses, which is fine. They're nice scans, but it's kind of funny when we get the ones from the because there are trades on this story. But anyway, my apologies. I just assume that everyone assumes, just like everyone thinks we're mad to opt out of the Federation lifestyle, but we're all tried it and it wasn't for us. Which has the search for strange new worlds got what is the search for strange new worlds gotten you? Starfleet, violence, war, blood debts.
Gorn. Oh, sorry.
Yes. No, what's great is we are mercifully saved from this argument between the two of them, because that's what real Star Trek does, which I think is interesting. It never tells you what to think. It tells you what the characters think. It puts arguments at each other, and then it continues with its story in a very subtle way. The argument has been put from both sides, and it's about, because anyone can be provocative. Only any idiot can provoke someone. Making people thought, being evocative, is what Star Trek is really about. Mm-hmm. And so it does stand to reason. Would everyone, in even Gene's future, would everyone agree on it all? I don't think they would. No, not yet, but. And then we have Beating It Klingons again.
Now, the name, what's the name there? Is that the name of a ship or the
Shalakov?
Shalakov, is that one of their ships, I think?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wasn't sure or I thought it was maybe like a big grain loader or something, but you think it's a spaceship that got them there, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like their main base, yeah. But it is immersive, isn't it? It's in medias res. You're in the middle of the action and you're not familiar with that. And then you become accustomed to it as the panels unfold, right? You start to recognize that name, and okay, so that's where all of their main controls are. So that was my impression of it. I mean, I don't think you would name a Quonset, would you? I mean, I don't think I would.
Thought it was, but I was just
no.
I'm just saying that Mark has made a good point, right? It's like, is that a piece of equipment in Russian, or is that the ship that they brought and they use that for all of their tech, right? So it's a decent question, and I think some of that happens because it's in medias res. You're in the middle of the action already, and they're trying to get you accustomed to all the names in an immersive way.
Yep. Well, you have again, I love the way this is put together. This is a pretty clever idea, because, this is not, when you get, what is this, 17, 18 pages of stories were back then. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to be able to even tell a story that would be your normal, like in the original series, which was 50, 51, 52-minute story. You have to break those down into two-parters and whatnot. So they had to be very pithy in what they're writing, and they just couldn't really tell a longer story unless, again, you want to have multi-stories, which they do and do it very well. Mm-hmm. But I like the way this one you're thinking. I mean, you're genuinely going, how's he going to get out of this one? Mm-hmm. They're at this woman who's explained that she wants to fight back, but everyone else doesn't so much. And Pike said, nope, don't go them. No, let's not do it. Commander, I have Pike. So basically, Commander, well, Captain Pike, it seems I've captured you with just a few pirated Starfleet codes and a computer simulacrum of your godfather, Admiral Mahern, sorry. Now I will exact my price for the humiliation I suffered at your hands, in the Marabat Nebula. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sorry. I gotta make fun of this guy. I can't help it.
And I love the editor's note there in issue number 2. So if you remember,
from Bobby. I also absolutely love that on screen. What do we see? We've got that Andorian again, right?
Yes.
I should change my avatar.
That Andorian dude.
I need to
Read to that
change my
door.
avatar to my Bashi warrior.
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, Claudia.
Go for it. Go for it.
Out of my way, pink skin.
Pink
Out of my
skin.
way, pink skin.
Because of you, I lost face in front of my crew and in the eyes of the Klingon High Command. This indignity will cost you gravely. You'll be beamed aboard after you have watched the execution of your pathetic allies on the Harvester.
Mhm.
Kaj, you barbaric son of a. That Pike springs into action there, and the fight ensues.
But do you see why Mark thought that? Like, Mark makes a good argument that the Sholokov is that giant, like crazy huge harvester. Do you know what I mean? It's not quite clear.
That's why I wasn't sure if it was a harvester or a ship.
That's what That's why I said you made a good
I think
point.
it's a
You backed
harvester
away
thingy.
from it you backed away from it too easily. I think that they don't really make it clear. So I like that you brought that up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a harvester thingy. Joseph Dredd, hey buddy, where comes the judge? What's up, bud? Welcome. So the fight ensues.
Yeah,
and then
I love the
A-Rod
art
and
for that
Bernie
fight.
Williams.
Look at that fight. That's a good fight. Look at, you're talking about a
Yes.
clear panel. So there's nothing behind them as they're fighting. And I
Where's
just, I
That's
think
Vince
it just
Coletta was the anchor on that panel.
no,
Just
yeah,
kidding.
it just
Hey, don't
pops
curse.
because of that. I love it because it's not busy. It allows you to focus on this brute struggle. Like look at his chin up.
Oh, the headbutt is
smushed-
fantastic. The way
yeah,
that's
smushed
portrayed,
into
yeah.
his face, just the boots and everything. Like it's just I like the white behind it because it focuses on the power, the way that the power is portrayed. Like look at the wrist. The wrist is clenched and you can see the veins in the wrist. And so I really like that idea where this isn't a panel that you're just going to go by quickly. You're going to look at it and you're going to realize these are two humanoids in a death struggle. So very cool. I like that. What little I know about comics, I know I like that. Anyway.
Yeah, you get ads for
Oh,
baseball
A-Rod
players.
and Bernie Williams. Oh, great center
Yeah.
fielder for the Yankees. Yep.
And
And
then
funny aside, my wife has been playing pickleball with Bernie Williams' wife, but that's a story for another day.
I'd never
Yeah,
even heard
pickleball.
of pickleball until I met Americans.
Yes, pickleball. I still don't know what it is.
Pickleball.
Anyway, dude gets blasted by our lovely lady there.
Claire. Yeah.
That's a cool
Tight
panel,
combat
though. Look
moves.
at that.
Tight combat moves. Very neat and very Starfleet. A lifetime ago, I was science officer on a Federation starship. The ship was lost in battle against the Chakun. Kind of made me reconsider everything.
Yeah.
You may want to reconsider standing in the open.
I love that he busts
Yeah.
her butt for that. That's pretty funny. She's like, agreed. I like how she just says to him, agreed.
Then she's
Okay.
flying
Yeah.
through the air. Yeah.
Yes, they won't stop. And we're just 2 guns against 2 dozen. And Pike decides to blast something. Then let's fix those odds. Very, very Pike move.
Mhm.
And
Strategy's
it's
always
tough to
thinking ahead.
illustrate a big fight like this. So Zurcher's doing a great job of, as I say, when you start to read a comic, sometimes you forget you're reading a comic and it starts to make, motion pictures in your mind as you read it. And as you get into the flow of reading a comic, I know, Raquel, you haven't read many comic books, so
I haven't
you
read
can see
any.
why we
This
love
is
them.
my
Well,
this is
number
my
2,
7th
number 3,
comic.
7th.
okay, yeah. So, but when you get into reading a comic, you get in the zone, so
Mark,
to speak.
I've been in the
Yep.
academic my entire life, and not only do I fully support what you're saying, but I don't see it as like moving pictures in my mind. Although I think that that's a beautiful expression on your behalf. For me, I 100% see these as lost episodes. I really do. Like
Oh,
I
that
feel that
too,
way
yeah,
about
yeah.
them. Like I had to ask HB a couple of weeks ago, or was it Mike? I had to ask, what are these called again? Oh yeah, because I had stream brain, issues. Yeah, they're issues. Because for me, like I find it very easy to call these episodes. When Clobby
It's the
introduced
same
this
thing.
to
Yeah,
me,
it's the same
he could
thing. Yeah.
not have found a better comic to show me what comics are all about. I just love these early
Well, as a
voyages.
Star Trek fan too, yeah, that's that helps a lot, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
Baby steps, HB, baby steps. So there we go. Pike pulls a fast one. You've got a name, Clara Thorne. I feel guilty, Pike. I'm almost enjoying this. I guess I can. I guess you can take the woman out of Starfleet.
I thought it
let's
should have
see.
said. Shouldn't have said. I guess you can't take the woman out of Starfleet.
I guess you
Shouldn't
can
that have
take
been-
the woman out of
guess you-
Starfleet, but you
You
can't
can
take
take
Starfleet
the
out of the
woman out
woman.
of Starfleet, but you can't take the
The Starfleet
Starfleet out of the woman. So it's correct.
Yeah.
Right, they just left it unsaid
Yeah. They left it unsaid.
on
The
purpose.
next panel I find very
Clearly.
upsetting because this is what just happened to Colonel Lake. I found that Colonel Lake was hit in the back of the head in a way that just, it makes me flinch. And then we see Claire get hit in the back of the head in this panel, and I wince, like I just cringe.
Yeah.
She is just smacked so hard in the back of her head. Oh, it's awful. Anyway.
Awful, absolutely.
Testament to the good art.
Salt
The art is
Scotch
terrific.
to the battle cruiser Veracruz. Pike is heading for the other harvester. Toss, take another squad and snare him, and don't fail, or I'll flay your skin for new boots, Commander.
Okay,
Maybe
so
they think
this
this
is the
guy's
part
a-hole.
of the story where I started to see the harvesters as ships. Does that make sense? They harvest up all the grain, they fly away.
Could be. I never really thought about it, to be
Anyway.
honest, because we don't see enough of them for me to know. I think you could be right, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't think about it, to be honest, because you can't see much of them. But maybe so. Of course, there's an ad for the look how many Star Trek comics they had out at the time. There were more to follow. Warning: consumption of this tasty bite-sized combination snack may cause super Hulk stretch, ultra hypersensitive, hearing, and spider-like behavior. Look, everybody likes combos. They were good guys, but that's a little bit of a stretch. And so there's a guy like in one of those swamp buggies. Pike has found one of those hover thingies. Blast all around me in the corn. He's being fired on. Gets knocked off of the thingy.
Look at his face. Look at his face when he gets thrown off of that hovercraft. Look at his face.
Ouch.
Look at his fingers. So cool.
Flush him out. We can't get a fix on 100 hand scanners because he's a human. No. I see Raka coming to phasers. Blah, 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 blah. You'll slaughter Toth's assault squad. Okay. Now this was interesting here. This is Kodge is giving orders, telling him to attack all around where Pike is, and his interesting lady first officer, whatever she is. You'll slaughter Toth's assault squad. Small price, and I would rather have killed Pike face to face, but I will make do with him vaporizing him from orbit. Better than have him escape again. So he blasts down there, and Pike's running for his life. Nowhere left to run. And then it's bullpen bulletins time.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. That's just where Marvel would hawk their crap on and let Stan Lee lie about shit for a while. And then yes, I can feel his fear as death closes too fast for them to outrun. Commander, a Federation vessel is dropping out of warp below. It's the Enterprise.
I love it.
Yes,
Shields! Shields now!
Shields now. Whack you. Boom. Caught him off guard. And then he said, oh, God, we better evacuate our comics so we get some money for them first. So let's look at the price guide for our comics. Man, the Klingons are really shitty comics collectors. Look how low our comics are going for these days.
Yeah.
So
I'd buy that for $1.
Spock says, Captain, my readings indicate that these Klingons really don't understand what their comic books are worth at all. They have hardly bagged and barred them, and they're looking at prices from over 20 years ago.
Clobby, shin kicks.
Oh, sorry. We caught Kodge completely unawares. Hit him again, Mr. Tyler. Let's knock all of the fight out of him before we talk. And sure he
Yeah,
does.
you see how number 1 doesn't mess around.
Oh yeah. No. She don't play.
That's right.
She don't play that number 1. Commander must fall back while we still have motive power.
Mm-hmm.
And that panel above Spock looks just like he does in the cage. It's perfect, with the uniform.
He's beautiful.
If you go up, yeah. Sorry, but
what's that? What am I doing?
Go up, go back to Spock there. Yeah, see how it just that screams the cage right there. That's just perfect. Yep.
Yep, it's beautiful.
So the where am I?
Sorry, I messed you up.
So no, we didn't. Not at all. So, how do they know? How do they know? How do they know where to find us?
Yeah,
Commander, we have to do it. So I know how. Woo! Dave's. She went to Dave's Comics and she ordered some comics, and he knew exactly where they were.
Yeah, you just started getting internet ads for comics there too. Yeah.
Yes, they've gone to warp. So we pursue negative. Mahanda's our priority, and Captain Pike and any injured on the planet. At least the captain's ordeal is over. Blah blah blah. Well, that's so good right there. What a great couple of panels.
Yeah.
How do you figure that, yeoman? The captain is enmeshed in a blood debt with relentless Klingon warrior. The only way it's going to end is when one of them doesn't walk away.
Yeah. And look at the typical Pike with his fists clenched. World on fire. World on fire.
Captain's log supplemental. Crop fires on prairie have been contained and full medical aid rendered. That seems all we could do. As the farmers of prairie want nothing else. I got to pull this damn screen close to me. Want nothing else except our departure. Claire Thorne is in our sickbay. I think she came to prairie believing she was looking for something when all she needed was to lay to rest a painful memory.
Yeah.
I'm backing her bid to be reinstated in Starfleet. She deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
Now all that remains to be dealt with is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 says, as soon as I spoke to Admiral Mahern, I realized that we had been duped. Spock examined the transmission and found that the signal degradation didn't match the one sent from Earth. So we tracked it back to its source. And excuse me. And that's how you found me? No, sir. It turned out it was too badly degraded. We couldn't get an origin an origin fix. So what then? A distress call from the harvester? The Klingons hit first. We were given your location via a scrambled, untraceable transmission. Someone out there, you have an anonymous friend somewhere in this. Do I? Or does Kaj have more than one enemy? Someone who saved my life for a purpose. We may have a mutual foe, but that doesn't make us friends. I guess only time will tell. Next, Philip Boyce. ... Murderer? Question mark.
They're building up to that Philip Boyce, Dr. Boyce.
Yeah.
Well, they've been
various panels.
They've been leading us on for long enough. It's time for the payoff. And in the early voyages letter to the editor, it's too long to read, but it's just super funny. If you guys want to read the final letter,
if you want me to.
Well, it's kind of it's a little bit long, but I think you'll be amused by its contents. Just let me make sure that that's the one. Where is
one
it?
by Vinny DeMann?
Let me. I read them all today, and now I'm just mixed up. Hold on. You have a What is it? I think it's the last letter.
Okay, by Vinny DeMann.
Let's wait 1 second here.
From Helena, Montana.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the last letter. It's the last letter. The last letter you'll like, Clobby. It's the last letter.
Okay.
Sorry, honey.
All right, no problem. There we go. Editors. In writing to letters pages, people often mention that it's their first time. They usually say this to emphasize the incredible impact of whatever book it took to cause them to write it. Well, it took 37 years, but early voyages number 4 was my trigger point. As we used to say in the old neighborhood, freaking outstanding, ladies and gentlemen. One benefit of age was experiencing the original broadcast of the Menagerie episode. It left a big impression on that 8-year-old who was just then starting to realize some of the world's real truths. Little kids didn't always escape from the monsters. Happy endings weren't automatic, and there were situations a lot worse than simple death. I knew you guys would do this storyline sometime. On first picking it up, I expected a yawning rehash. Not so. Yeoman Colt's bittersweet debut followed effortlessly into the whole tale, infusing it with a living force, expanding a classic with as much credibility, style, and impact as the original. I relived every instant. Best feature of issue, every page, specifically the next to last page. This issue is requisite to basic human culture, especially for you older geezers out there who saw the original broadcast episode. I'm now duty bound. I'm now duty bound to hike back to the comics, Cosmic Comics. There you go, and buy out their shelf stock to send copies to fogey friends. Worst feature of issue, nitpick first. The panel of which Dr. Boyce keels over in pain. The shock lines make it look like he unloads half of a gallon of mustard over his desk. Ouch! Yeah. Finally, where are the credits? Who writes inks? Who writes inks, letters, etc.? They are due congratulations and recognition for the stunning work. Salute to them, to the entire team. I'm impressed. Vinny DeBan.
Okay.
Helena.
So
what do you mean? Where are the credits?
Montana.
Last week, the editor was wrong. And so I wanted to show you all that the editor was wrong. This week, the editor is right. Listen to what the editor says back. Clobby, read it. It's so funny.
Vinny. While age has its benefits, improved eyesight is not one of them. The credits for issue number 4 appear at the bottom of the first panel on page 2. And you're right. They're easy to miss. Look for them to take up the entire first page of the next issue. Okay, not really, but they will be bigger. We promise. Next issue, Dr. Boyce, Killer.
Okay, Bossman, you have just received an insanely generous gift from the remarkable gentleman we all know and love as Larry.
Larry, thank you so much, buddy. By the way, shout out to your Muslim uncle. Thank you for being here, my friends. Well,
hello.
Larry says, I wonder what Jack Kirby would have done with Star Trek, writing a story and creating the art. Oh, man, I wish I could have seen it. This comics run is better than anything spewed out since 2009. Yes, sir. Hail, Clobby, Raquel, and Mark. Hail to you, Larry.
Love you, Larry.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much. You were too generous. That's very nice, everybody.
Thank you for everything you do for everyone,
and I agree.
Sweetheart.
Absolutely agree. It is a great run. Very worthy of Kirby, this run, as a matter of fact. Kirby would have, he only did that one. He did like a Topps card for Star Wars, so he never touched those big ones. He never really did anything, but I'm sure he watched Star Trek. He's mentioned it before, I think. And I'm the kind of guy, he was the kind of guy that would probably watch Star Trek at some point. Then again, I don't know. He didn't watch much TV. He probably had a TV inside of his head, really. How creative he was. So, yeah. It's right up his alley, though.
Yeah, this was great stuff. I just this panel here, I thought was could have been made into a poster just to show this real quick again. But this, page, I should say. It's it's multiple panels, but I love how the Enterprise is drawn perfectly. Sometimes in Raquel, you haven't read many comics yet, but sometimes some of the artists really mess up the ships, and don't have the best renditions.
Oh, yeah.
The cells are
Well,
at the wrong
last week it was
angles.
the inker. Remember how the inker put that shadow underneath Spock's nose and made him look like his nose was bleeding?
Yeah, sometimes
happen,
that can happen too.
Yeah.
Or the way it's printed, the limitations of the paper back then. I don't think this was on much. I think this is probably not great paper. You wouldn't. I could ask you, but you wouldn't know which is the difference between different types of comic book paper. But
it smells terrific.
It's
not. It's not newsprint like in the older days.
Oh yeah.
It's a higher quality paper than it was 20 years earlier or whatever.
Yeah. But this page, Hungry Boy, who's was a professional comic book artist, that says, not an easy page to ink, LOL. Yeah. So this is just so well done. It's like I'd actually take this and use this as a wallpaper or blow it up. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
It's beautiful.
I think that's the best page in the book, but
I'll be right
all
back.
the art is great.
The window, it's freezing cold in here, believe it or not.
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
How cold? I wonder how cold it is there. If it's
cold,
cold, yeah. You haven't. It hasn't been cold for you in a long time, Clobbering times, right?
Unless I'm sitting up under the refrigerator.
Yeah, unfortunately, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see. What's it? Oh, cold. It is freezing actually. Oh, we're having some frigid weather outside. It's all the way down into 82 degrees tonight.
It's 82. My
Which
God,
is pretty good.
You better put your sweater on.
Well,
what is it right
now?
I
got fans.
82C is that like 27? I'm guessing 82C, 82F.
You guys in your Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's 27.778. How's that for engineering a conversion on the fly?
Okay, you ready? Right now, it is 13 degrees Celsius where I am.
But we're going to be back up to 100 in the morning, so
that's
pretty nice tonight. It's nice tonight, but it'll be shite.
Ooh. 55 is good camping weather. That's perfect.
Yeah, but I don't even have slippers on. You have to close the window. I'm just a skinny mini. I get cold very easy.
You better eat some more cheeseburgers.
And I'm the vice versa. I can't. I mean, right now, it is kind of cool at my desk because we're having a rare bout of it's cool. It's down degrees and not quite as muggy. But that's because, well, we're not sure yet. Don't panic, but we're starting to wonder about what kind of weather we got looking at us. If you take my meaning, we could be looking at some now. We don't know whether it's going to skirt off to the west through the Gulf or come after me. We don't know yet.
Well, I hope you'll be safe.
Oh, we will.
I think your Muslim uncle is time traveling.
Yeah, because he's saying what a beautiful page.
Yeah, he's
so.
Your Muslim uncle is. Yep. Everyone, tell your Muslim uncle he's. I do that so much. YouTube should do something about that because I'm doing that all the time. Like if sometimes I think I check it now more because I'm more aware of it. Like if I'm watching a live stream, but sometimes I'll forget and I'll look over and I'll see people talking in the chat. I'm like, what are they talking about? Because if I was doing something where I couldn't, when I was only lurking, and we love you lurkers, by the way. I go, oh crap! Look, I'm 2 minutes back, or whatever, and I was zip it ahead, and you can zip it ahead, and because that happens. That happens when you hit your mute a lot,
or you hit pause, or you could jump by accident.
Even if you don't hit pause, but even if you don't hit pause, if you hit mute to do something instead of like just turning your volume down, it'll stop the thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No biggie, but
I'll wait for you, Larry. Larry, I will always wait for you.
Oh yeah. But what? Yeah, we're right here for you there, Larry.
He says I'm always behind. I'll wait for you.
Oh, and I did clips. I was going to clip it when the Klingons were missing. I was going to play it, but I missed. But here we go. I had a clip that I was going to play this for when the Klingons kept missing Pike. But
poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
That's great.
Well, that's why this comic is so good, because it reminds you of you're in the Star Trek universe. It's very believable, very well written. The characters fit, and it's
This should have been an
as you
episode.
you can imagine this being an episode. But hey, for us comic book lovers, that's why we read these. And I remember reading these, various Star Trek comics back in the day, and I've said it before. I tell my friends, you got to read these. They're so good. My Star Trek buddies, and like, we don't read comics, so you expect me to read a comic book? I'm like, yeah, but it's so
Yeah.
good. It's like seeing
I'm
the crew
sorry.
again. And,
Some of them would read the
here's Star-
novels.
Sorry.
They did read the novels, though.
Yeah.
You read the novels, like number one?
No, I've never read the novels.
Never? Really?
There's only one novel that I've read. That's the TMP that Jean wrote.
Really?
Yeah, and I have a first edition of it. I received it as a present, so I just want you to imagine me reading it. It was like I was barely touching it. It's the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. I have a really, really super old copy of Lady Chatterley's Lover, because it's like one of the first, well, not one of the first, but it is among the modern first, I guess you would say, of pornography. So it's a banned book, and I collect banned books. And I think only since Lady Chatterley's Lover, that super ancient copy that I have, not since then have I been so nervous reading a book. I was like, because the jacket is in pristine condition, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to even open this. But yeah, it was fun to read. I liked it.
Let me ask you
I don't
this:
even look at it.
was it any kind of, was it a decision not to read Trek novels? Just you never got around to it? What was the deal with that?
I think it's a combination of things. Like when you're involved in, like I had to work really super long hours, and then I got to academia a little bit later, and I just threw myself into all of the academic reading that was required, and then I read beyond what was required. So I really got caught up in that for a long time, and that actually became my pleasure reading. So my pleasure reading is actually stuff that no one else wants to read, really. And I know
Well, it
this.
sounds like you're reading Lady Chatterley's Lover. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, I like reading. I like
just for academic
reading.
Research, of course, though.
Yeah, and classics and things like that. I really enjoy that sort of thing, and that is how I've spent most of my life. Most of the books on my shelves, I don't think normal people want to read.
Really? Well,
except for Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Except for Lady Chatterley's Lover. Like if I turn and I look behind me, one of the first books that catches my eye is The Mill on the Floss. And I don't think anyone here wants to read that. The Bleak House. I don't think so. You
have Trek nonfiction books, though.
I do. Yes, I collect them, and I enjoy them immensely. Because I like learning about Gene Roddenberry, because I think that he is a wonderful creative mind. And I know we live in the age of hyperbole, so it's kind of hard not to fall into at least a little bit of hyperbole, even if you're aware of it, you're cognizant of it, and you're hesitant of it. But I do like to use the word genius when I'm thinking about him. When I think about his impact, like that in my master's thesis, I talk about how Cooper said he saw Captain Kirk with his communicator, and he made the cell phone, and these things. Like, this is communication historiography. This is somebody who is actually creating ideas that scientists follow through with. And so I do consider him a genius. And what's anomalous is that usually when you're talking about futurism and technology, it's easy for the human mind to go to dystopia. And what's really difficult to do is to go to utopia. And so while everyone in this generation is trying to tear it all down and trying to tear it apart, Gene's vision of science, technology, and the possibility of other life in the universe was always hopeful. And so I'm very much attracted to that idea as a calm scholar, because like I said, that's communication historiography. This is a man who is making it happen for real. This is futurism that becomes future present. This is technology, the future of technology now made present, and then also a hopeful message about it that will not only harness it, but that will use it for good. So he's anomalous. He's an anomaly, and it's incredibly difficult to write the way that he wrote. He's special. He's beautiful and special. He had a truly beautiful mind, and a highly underrated thinker and author, I think, anyway.
Did you get that thing I sent you the other day, the transcript?
Yeah, I need to read that because that is one of his seminars. So he appeared at a university, and this was what he delivered during his seminar, and I cannot wait. I know many of you Americans have access to that material, and I know I've heard from Minimus, and I've heard from you, Clobby, and I think Pat S., about having access to him at that time when he was standing behind the lectern. Wow. And I would have loved to have the opportunity to listen to him behind a lectern delivering a seminar or a lecture on futurism or even creation writing. Marvelous, and I cannot wait to read that. I'll be tucking in with that tonight, actually.
A friend of mine sent it to me. I think he sent it to me before, and I don't know if I sent it to you before, but it was when he came down here March 25th of 1975 at the LSU Assembly Center. They call it LSU down here, Louisiana State University. And I read it the other night when he sent it to me, and I just laughed and laughed. He's so funny, the way he goes after the networks, the way he goes after people that he considers to be imbeciles and assholes and jerk-offs. He was brutal back then. So this was not the kinder, gentler Gene at this point. This is 1975. He was savage. It was great. Yeah. So funny.
But that's needed, right? That's needed.
Well, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, it's that kind of behavior is required when people get out of control and they want to spoil things and they want to behave like buffoons. And unfortunately, that was the case. I mean, you're talking about people who turned down the cage. Imagine being such a nincompoop, being so full of nincom and poop that you just become nincompoop and say, no, sorry, this is too esoteric. This is too cerebral. Take your shadow and begoneth. Like, what kind of a pure moron, imbecile would you have to be to have that reaction to the cage?
I want to give everybody. I think he showed the cage at that point. I think that one. Just to give everybody an idea of what kind of sense of humor Gene Roddenberry had back then. Even he was addressing the audience. I'm just got a little snippet of it here. It says, "With an audience like this, I probably should begin with the confession. The truth is that I opened these talks with the blooper reels in order to gauge the level of the audience I'll be facing. And I see you at LSU tonight. I face a group of intellectual." What?
No, just amazing. Yep. So sorry.
Well, do I need to stop? I'm not looking at the screen.
No, I'm just commenting how amazing this is, speech. But yeah,
this is. Oh, you've seen it? I thought I did send you a copy. All right.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm just commenting on your reading it. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Where was I? Fine. Damn it.
Sorry. Damn it, Mark.
Damn it, indeed. In this case, I'll be facing to gauge the level of audience I'll be facing, and I see at LSU tonight. I face a group of intellectuals. I'm being quite serious. Mm-hmm. The greatest laughs we have ever had on the blooper reel have come from the top universities or showings from NASA or the Smithsonian Institution. The only place the bloopers never received a laugh was at a showing for network executives, which I think proves there obviously is a correlation between the sense of humor and intelligence. What you have seen tonight are 3 blooper reels from each year of Star Trek production, and nothing in them was staged. There were some pranks, by the actors, but the rest of that was eras or other goofs, which our editors put together with sound and music every year for our Star Trek Christmas party, at which time we would be bombed out of our minds from exhaustion and other causes. It says, and even in that
causes.
and even in that condition, we would say a Christmas prayer every year that someday there would be a USS Enterprise in orbit out there, and that its salvo of photon torpedoes would score a direct hit on NBC.
Gene!
In the years since, we've matured a bit, I think, grown a bit wiser. We no longer feel that way about NBC. We recognize now that probably the only hope for television is to get all 3 networks.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
I love him.
You're going to make me cry.
What? I'm sorry. Should I stop?
Oh, I just love him so much. Please keep going.
I'll just do a little bit more.
Well, you can't do the whole thing because it's pretty long. I think it might be about a 40-minute read.
No, I'm
but
just going to do a little bit of the opening.
Can you do a little bit more, please?
All right. So he said you got the only chance for television is to get all 3 networks. I love him.
Just get all 3.
Gene says, I probably should admit I do have a little fun at the expense of network executives.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, there are as many good people there as there are in any other large American corporation.
Yeah.
No, they are skilled professionals, really, who represent a broad range of backgrounds such as advertising, public relations, brokerage houses, the petroleum industry, the law, and other quasi-criminal activities. My quarrel really is with the system, with the nature of commercial television as it exists today, and I will come back to that later and be serious about it. But let me say this now. I will be discussing television in a way you may never have heard before. It is much more than just an inconvenient blot on our culture. What television is and what it may become is far more serious. Right at the moment, with this device still in its infancy, we are bombarding this world of ours with billions of people, hours of sound and image each week. It is a device whose power and potency and scope may increase at a near geometrical rate in the near future, and in the end, it may be a primary factor, one of the most important factors in deciding the future of this infant race which inhabits this spaceship Earth.
You see how he has such a command of understanding of how human beings influence technology, but how technology then turns it on human beings and then begins to influence society. He's very aware of how powerful television is and how it could be used for nefarious purposes. Anyways, this is great. Can you do just a bit more?
Just a little bit more. By the way, Goldstein, Ezra, I have read Perry's Planet. That's one of my favorite. I don't think I've read the Klingon's Gambit, but Perry's Planet is probably my favorite of the 70s novels. Let's see here. Where were I? Where? Okay, so a little bit more. Now, having threatened you, having threatened your future, let me talk about some of the things that brought some of you here tonight. Star Trek, that's in capital letters, in all caps. The phenomenon surrounding it. Some stories from other science fiction shows we tried to make and where Star Trek may be going. The film you will be seeing tonight is the original Star Trek pilot. The first one we made that was turned down by NBC for being too intellectual for you slobs out to the television audience. It's an interesting film. It's considered by Isaac Asimov and some other science fiction writers to be the most pure example of science fiction that has come out of a television studio.
It's true.
Part of it was cut into a 2-part Star Trek called The Menagerie, but maybe some of them misprint. It has never been seen or shown on television in its full length as you'll see tonight. It went on to win the International Hugo Award, which I suppose is what happens to things turned down by NBC.
Burn! Burn! He burned down the building.
Oh, well, taking the last part of those things first, where is Star Trek going?
Mm-hmm.
In order to answer that, I'll have to make a comment on the Star Trek fans.
Mm-hmm.
As you perhaps know, our fans are a lovely but rather peculiar life form who seem to be born with a typewriter in one hand and a roll of stamps in the other, which is to say, they write letters constantly, and thank God for that. Because in our second year of Star Trek production, they saved us from cancellation by over 1 million letters to NBC.
Yeah.
Well, they've made it. Excuse me. Well, they've been up to it again. Paramount Studios, which controls the basic Star Trek copyright, has suffered a year-long deluge of fan mail demanding a Star Trek motion picture. Paramount has finally cried enough. It is in the headlines of Variety and Reporter in Hollywood today. We have completed negotiations, and when I get back, I begin writing a widescreen theatrical release Star Trek motion picture. I've still got to put the blank paper in the typewriter and write fade in. I hope you will applaud after I get finished. I can oh God, let me read the one more part and we'll be done. I got this. I was about to stop, but I'm thinking of this part. Negotiations have not always gone smoothly. In my first meeting with Paramount almost a year ago, they informed me that they would want to show the show recast, of course, putting in proven motion picture box office names. And I suppose they meant something like Richard Burton for Captain Kirk or Robert Redford for Mr. Spock. And I agree that these are fine actors, and there are a lot of good ones. There are a lot of good ones around, but I didn't think the fans would want that. And the deluge of mail started all over again. If anything, the mail got worse. It reached a point where one of the heads at Paramount called me on the telephone rather bitterly. It seems fans had gotten hold of his home address, and his demand was simple: call them off or else, which is rather frightening coming from the studio that made The Godfather. I'll leave the rest to later so you can read it because it's a long answer.
Well, I'm very excited. Yeah,
Do you have the link to that?
Yeah, I sent it to both of you.
On Twitter.
No,
or
he emailed it. No, I don't know.
Oh, it was an email. All right, that's see, my brain is.
My friend who attended this, he sent it to me in an email. I would love to send it to everybody.
You sent it to me, boss. I have it.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm just trying to remember where.
Also. I just don't know if it's online anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find. But I did just post a couple of college speeches from Gene Roddenberry that are probably very similar.
He probably used the same one. It just depends.
Yeah,
that was the first one of the first ones.
So let me see if I could. Yeah, so it's fascinating to watch those. Pardon the pun is valid. To watch those YouTube speeches. One of them, one of the people were saying that this one of the ones was Gene Roddenberry speaks at the University of Utah. Union Building, 1974. My brother was the director of Union Program and invited Mr. Roddenberry to speak. He served as his host, and I got to tag along. So imagine having Gene Roddenberry, maybe stay at your house, stay at your chaperoning him around. And he says, provided me memories I'll never forget. My brother recorded the speech using a cassette recorder with a handheld microphone, so the the quality is not the best. But following the speech is a brief Q&A, and then Mr. Roddenberry introduces a screening of The Cage. So I found a couple of those on YouTube, and I put the links in there. And I'm just going to try to find the transcript here, or I can turn that into a PDF and somehow post that too. But
I would love to send that. I sent you one as well.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, I got it. So, but maybe I could turn it into a PDF and post it in our member chat, or because I don't think that's copyrighted.
I think people would really like that. but you'd have
Yeah.
to make sure that it's copyright compliant. I don't think
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
in
Is
the
that, how
public
did
domain.
I'm guessing it is, but I don't know how to check that.
Well, you could use full in-text citation, and then you would be fine. Like you'd have to use like university level, like so,
Yeah.
introduce it, source it, say where it's from, and then close with it, bookend it with citation, and you should be all right.
Well, I'll consult with you on that.
Yeah, I
If I
can
need
show
to
you how to
turn it.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
APA, MLA, both are acceptable. MLA is usually for the humanities, and communications and technology actually uses MLA and
Yeah.
APA. So that's fine. If you like CP style, you can go ahead and use CP style. Well, not Canadian Press, like AP style for you, American Press. It's fine. It's just it has to be for educational purposes, and then it would need to be bookended with full formal citation.
Well, that's great. This transcript's amazing. I'm not finding it online though, which I'm surprised. Normally, because it's obviously a transcript, so someone.
Did you
I'm
check
assuming
LSU?
Well, I'll have to go into LSU. I'm just googling or searching, goggling where that would have been, but I'll find it. Hopefully, I'll find it.
You could go and check the university archive. Some of it will be available.
Yep, but that's gold to read something like
it
that.
is. It's great.
I love how he makes fun of the studio there too.
I mean, it's good.
Turing Machine. Man, Les Moonves is a complete utter moron and a creep. So, as much as I would like to believe he would be that stupid, and he's a scumbag, he ruined Star Trek. I don't know if that could be true or not, but it's funny if it's true. It's funny to think it's true, though.
Right. Yeah.
Well, guys, it's a school night.
We got to get a move on here, folks. All right, everyone.
It is late.
We're going to get out of here in short
Got
order.
late early.
We ran it too late, and I apologize. It was my fault. I didn't know. I'm sorry, number one.
No, it was fun, but it's a school night, and Andrew has to get up very early in the morning.
Well, let's go ahead and you go with your final words, and then we'll get Mark, and we'll say good night, and we'll get out of here.
Well, I hate to scoot out of here, folks, but it's nearly midnight here, and I just want to thank all of you for the marvelous conversation that you provided this evening. I enjoyed your company immensely. Some really great laughs and some really cool things as people came in and out of the room. So thank you so much for being a part of this. Well, we couldn't do all this if we didn't have you here. So thank you, one and all. You are marvelous company. Thank you for being a friend to one of my favorite people in the whole world, Clobby. And I want to thank all the wrenches. Thank you so much, wrenches, for all the hard work that you do in helping us to keep all these clobberooskies in order. Sometimes we're like herding cats, aren't we? So thank you for that. I want to thank Mark for everything he does behind the scenes. Mark has a Patreon. He also has a YouTube. He's a very talented, fun, cool person. And if you like to talk all things geek, and hey, maybe you want a doomsday machine. Did you know you could actually buy a doomsday machine? Well, you would know this if you were following Mark. So I highly suggest that. And last but certainly not least, Clobby, you're one of my best friends in the whole world from my whole life. I love you so much, sweetheart. Thank you for creating this space for all of us to come together. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge, especially with these early voyages, and showing me about this form of publishing and why it has such, it has merit, and it's quite enjoyable. So I just want to thank you for being you, because I adore you, sweetheart. And that's it.
Back at you. Thank you so much. Love you. Markin?
Oh, thank you, Raquel, so much, and everyone support Raquel on her Patreon. And if you can't donate something monetarily, you can follow someone on Patreon too to get updates and messages. And thanks for the plug of my Patreon, Raquel. Yep, so you can get a Doomsday Machine there, and maybe I'm going to do an Etsy store. I might do that for the Doomsday Machine, but I don't want to sell too many because the Galaxy could end up in danger. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Looking forward to hanging out with Clobbering Times on Sunday Night Geekery, where we recap the week in geek, and we had a lot of cool Blue Beetle talk last week, and maybe some food talk again. So I'm not sure what we always find something fun to talk about with Steve Mitchum and Dadman and Courtney and Pat S. So always have a lot of fun there. And yeah, this is a blast tonight. One of the better shows, I think. And not that they're all I think they're all pretty darn good, if my biased opinion, but we had some great content tonight, and oh god, only 2 more episodes of UFO left, so we have to decide. We have to have a private Clubhouse meeting to pick the next show, unless the captain's already decided, because it's his he's the boss.
We'll get together on it.
Yeah, but we'll have something else that we're going to I'm assuming we can never replace UFO, but we'll have something to continue in its stead, I'm sure, in 2 weeks. But thanks again, everyone. It's great chat, and great hanging out with everyone, and a lot of fun as usual on Thursday night at the Clubhouse. So take care, everyone.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's see. Okay, well, continuing Jack Kirby month as always. Here in Clobbering Times. What will I be doing? Well, tomorrow night I'll be all over the place. I'll be at the Great J-Man channel, Gasp. Hanging out with speaking of Jack Kirby month, hanging out with our good buddies J-Man and Sean. We're gonna be continue our reviews of the Jack Kirby's Fourth World. So we started last week. This week we'll have Forever People #1, New Gods #1, and Mr. Miracle #1. We'll review. That'll be 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. And that is, of course, Friday night. Then, of course, Nick and the gang is going to have an open talk show, it looks like, after all, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Excuse me. And so we'll be hanging out with the Nicks and the boys on that one. Then there's Saturday Night Star Trek. 4 more episodes, same time, same Clubby channel. My wonderful first officer and I reviewing 4 more and beginning season 2 of Star Trek Voyager. And then there's Sunday Night Geekery, hanging out at the Great Engineers channel. Mark D with a C, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your eating. It's time for some eatery. And then I will be, of course, hanging out with the great J-Man again on his channel again that Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, for our Legion of Superhero review show. And then Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Continuing Kirby month, celebrating, that is the birthday of course, the King of Comics, Jack King Kirby. It would have been 105. And we will celebrate the King of Comics. And then for the rest of the week, the same. So let's see here. We're just going to shout out our wrenches quick, and then we're going to get out of here. Great Eric K., Chris Persia, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth, J-Man, Hungry Boy, Stephen Callell, Maddie's Daddy, Adam Outsidey, and Maximum Redstone-ishness. And to everyone else out there, thank you so much. Everyone who lurked, or anyone who watches us on a download or a rewatch, and everyone who was here within the chat tonight. No time to do all the shout outs because there was so many of you. But thank you so much. Love you all. Appreciate you all. We'll get everyone shouted out Saturday night.
I was just going to interrupt it. Is the word given?
I guess.
Give the word, Admiral. Scott, word is given.
Okay. I like it. Word is
like
yes. Good night, everybody. Well, what I forgot where I was now. Clobber on. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, everybody.